Game 4 of the 2021 American League Division Series, presented by Good Sam. Guaranteed rate field in Chicago, where the Houston Astros maintain a 2-1 series lead. They are one step away from a league championship series appearance, while the White Sox try to extend their season. Here's how we got to a 2-1 Astros lead. They won the first 2 games of this series. Game 1 last Thursday behind Lance McCullers Jr. He was sparkling in 6 2/3 innings in a 6-1 Astros victory. The White Sox took the early lead in Game 2, but the Astros came out on top, defending their home field by a final of 9-4. The scene shifted to the blackout on Sunday night in Chicago, where the White Sox bats finally woke up. They put together a franchise postseason record, 16 hits in a 12-6 win. And with all that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth for Game 4. Adam Amin and the World Series champions A.J. Pierzynski and Adam Wainwright. It comes down to a Game 4 pitching matchup today. For the Houston Astros, they go back to their Game 1 starter on normal rest, Lance McCullers Jr.
Well, I like this move by Dusty Baker. Lance McCullers Jr. in Game 1 was unhittable. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, but 0 walks. A lot of soft contact, a ton of ground balls. You may say, well, why not pitch Jose Urquidy? Well, because Lance McCullers is their best starter. Dusty Baker is taking his shot, and by pitching Lance McCullers Jr., he also lines up Framber Valdez to pitch Game 5 if they lose today on normal rest. This is Dusty Baker's shot. He's using his best 2 pitchers to try to win 1 game and eliminate the White Sox.
So on the other side of things, Carlos Rodon. Both McCullers and Rodon pitched well against the opposition, but Adam, this is a much different Carlos Rodon now than what we saw in the first half.
Well, it might be. We don't know.
Yeah,
he hasn't pitched much lately. We got to see him earlier this year. This guy has incredible stuff. His fastball's in the upper 90s, averaging almost 97 miles an hour. It's been down a little bit the last couple of months. He's only pitched about 5 innings the last month or so, 2 weeks. His fastball's down, but his stuff could still be great. We don't know. So what everybody's wondering is, what Carlos Rodon are you going to get today?
It is going to be fascinating to watch. That's what Tony La Russa said when we spoke with him earlier today. I'm as excited as I've ever been to see this guy pitch. We'll see what he can give the White Sox in a must-win game for Chicago and a chance for Houston to head to the League Championship Series for a 5th consecutive season. Astros and White Sox. Game 4 is coming up next from Chicago. Game 4 yesterday to today, 65 degrees. It feels a little bit more like playoff baseball in Chicago this afternoon. We go down to the field and find out a little bit of the game plan from Tom Verducci today.
Well, thanks, Adam. Imagine going into a game and not knowing whether you're facing a power pitcher or a finesse pitcher. Well, Astros hitting coach Alex Cintron does not have to imagine that. He is living it. The last time his hitters saw Carlos Rodon back in July, Rodon was throwing 97 miles per hour. In his last start, he was down to 91. Cintron told me that discrepancy made it impossible to formulate a specific game plan. So he told me the first 3 Houston hitters will take a, quote, wait and see approach, and then he said, we will take it from there. No one quite knows what to expect from Carlos Rodon today, including the Astros hitters.
You see Carlos Rodon's last start against Cincinnati. That was nearly 2 weeks ago. That fastball velocity is a key, AJ, because he leans on it so much.
He does, but he can pitch without it. He proved last week against Cincinnati, or his last start, excuse me, that he can pitch at 90 miles an hour. He just has to use his other stuff more effectively. Something to watch for early. If his velocity is down, does he try to find it, or does he accept that he's going to have to pitch low 90s and use the other stuff to get outs?
Jose Altuve will climb in as part of the starting lineup for the Astros, sponsored by Good Sam. Funny that Tom talked about the first 3 hitters approach. The first 3 hitters, Altuve, Brantley, and Bregman, have been retired in order in each of the first 3 games. The Astros obviously have been able to bounce back with those 3 later. Yuli Gurriel goes back to the 6th spot, and Kyle Tucker, the left-hander against a lefty Rodon, moves back down to the 7 hole. Here we go in Game 4, a 2-1 Astros lead in the series. Carlos Rodon, his first career postseason start, the number 3 pick by the White Sox in 2014. 2 picks after the Astros selected Brady Aiken, number 1 overall. Away we go in game 4, and Altuve aggressive down the left field line, and a fair ball to start the game on the first pitch. Jimenez digs it out, and it's a 2-bagger on pitch number 1. Altuve, his 3rd hit of this ALDS, and he's in scoring position to start the day.
Well, I don't care if Carlos Rodon is throwing 99 or 90. If you throw a first pitch heater right down the middle of the game to Jose Altuve, he's going to do this to you. He's always ready. It's a little bit in. He laces it down the left field line for a leadoff double.
Now you wonder if the other team was listening to the pregame interview and thinking that this Astros lineup was going to come up with a wait and see approach. I mean, is that what a wait and see approach looks like?
Jose Altuve doesn't wait and see anything.
Now here's Michael Brantley, who has tied the longest postseason hit streak in franchise history, 14 consecutive games going back. However, against Rodon, he has struggled. 3 for 30, and Rodon has fanned him 6 times. That's a 100 batting average for Michael Brantley, who hit .311 this year. And it goes off speed to start. Nothing in 1 to count. Career high 13 wins, a career best .237 ERA, career best walk rate, career best strikeout rate for Rodon. But just 24 starts, and 6 of them have come since August. He did earn the win in 5 of those starts. Here's an 0-1. Another off-speed pitch to the right side, a productive out as Cesar Hernandez retires Brantley. Altuve takes 3rd base, and there's 1 down.
So we've seen 3 pitches so far. We had 3 swings.
How much more is that, the wait and see
approach?
But you don't want to wait on this guy. You don't wait on Carlos Rodon if he's got his good stuff, because if you get to 2 strikes, he puts you away. So I actually like this approach by the Astros. Get him early. If he throws you a good pitch to hit early, go get him. And listen, Michael Brantley right there had one thing on his mind. Hit a ground ball to the right side, exactly what he did. Give it to Alex Bregman to try to drive in Altuve and give the Astros a 1-0 lead.
Bregman has 5 hits in this division series and a couple of runs driven in. On Sunday in game 3, the Astros struck out 16 times. That ended up being a season high. That points to what AJ has talked about with the approach in the early part. Infield stays back here. And Rodon misses low with an off speed.
And one thing Jose Altuve also did so far, you mentioned the swings. He hit first pitch heater. Since then, 3 off-speed pitches in a row.
It was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball on that Altuve double. One 1-0 on Bregman. There's the fastball at 97 from Carlos Rodon. Gassed it up that time.
You know, and Carlos probably didn't know what he had today either, right? You don't really know for 100% fact until you get out there what you have that day. But especially if you haven't pitched, you really it's you know, you think you know, but you don't really know until you get out there.
There's a 1-1. On the outside corner, according to Vic Carapazza. 1-2 on Bregman. They filled it out pretty nicely for an afternoon game. The 1-2 is waved on and missed. 2 away.
99.
Got him to chase. 2 pitches up that Bregman normally does not chase on. 99 up out of the strike zone. I don't care who you are, how good of a hitter you are. 99 up out of the strike zone is impossible to hit.
No doubt, and that's a huge out for the starting pitcher right there. The key right here, though, is to not get too comfortable. You haven't got the job done yet, right? You still got to get this guy out too. There's a guy on third base, 2 outs. You fist pumping. You got that huge out right there. That was huge. You didn't get the run home, but you still got a job to do right here.
Against Yordan Alvarez, another lefty. Strike 1 at 97 miles an hour from Rodon. Alvarez has a home run in this series in game 1. 0-1. Foul back, nothing in 2, and a chance to leave Altuve stranded for Carlos Rodon in his first start in 2 weeks. Oh, 2. Foul back. Good swing by Alvarez to spoil that one.
You know, another thing as a pitcher right here, when you're starting and there's some question marks about you, and you see those other starting pitchers with their spikes on, that gives you a little, you get your dander up a little bit. You know, you don't want to be the guy taken out in the first inning or the second inning. You want to be the guy that delivers for your city. So I know Carlos got a little fired up knowing he had a couple stars with their cleats on, you know, for this game.
Lance Lynn and Lucas Giolito both said, hey, we're ready if you need us. 0-2 from Rodon. In the dirt, good stop by Yasmani Grandal. Altuve's at third base.
One thing to keep an eye on, though, Waino, you talked about this in game 3 with Dylan Cease. His first career postseason start, his velocity was up. Carlos Rodon, his velocity has been great so far, right? Is he going too hard early, especially not having pitched for so long? He hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. Is fatigue a factor? How long can he go at this pace?
Cease went just an inning and 2/3 in game 3. White Sox looking for some length in a starter for the first time in this series. There's a 1-2. The velocity was there. To the bottom of the first we go. Lance McCullers Jr. was great in game 1. He has been excellent in 3 starts against the Chicago White Sox this season. We'll see what he has in this potential clincher as he faces this White Sox starting lineup sponsored by Good Sam. Yoan Moncada goes back to the 2 spot as he was there in game 1, and in game 2 and 3 he was moved down in the order. Luis Robert, who's been hot, is in the 3 spot. It's just the second time all year that Robert is there. Abreu down to the 4. Grandal had the big home run, as did Leury Garcia in the 8 spot in game 3. Here is Lance McCullers Jr. against Tim Anderson. First offering. And he goes after the first pitch. A fly ball out to center, carrying well, but Jake Myers is there. And 1 pitch, 1 out for Lance McCullers Jr. In 3 starts against the White Sox, he's 3-0 with a 1.37 ERA, counting his performance in game 1.
Well, this guy was unhittable with soft contact in game 1. And you saw it on the first pitch of the game. He did it to Tim Anderson in game 1. First pitch slider. He'll be about 50-50 slider, curveball, and fastball. He throws the sinker. He throws a changeup more to lefties. This guy, if he's on, has one of the best sliders in baseball. If he's able to locate it in the strike zone, the Sox are in for a tough day.
He was very sharp with his breaking stuff in game 1. He'll deal a strike to Yoan Moncada to start his at bat.
His slider is totally unique. It has so much horizontal break in it that hitters aren't used to seeing anything like that.
Moncada flips it to the left side and down for a base hit. And he's aboard with 1 away here in the first.
Changeup off the plate, way off the plate away. Moncada just goes out, puts the barrel on it. 1 out single for the White Sox.
McCullers is one of the best in baseball. In fact, #1 in Major League Baseball in terms of opponents' average with runners on base this year. It was 154. But this guy, Luis Robert, has been near impossible to keep off the base paths. He's been aboard 9 of his 15 plate appearances in this series. He goes after the first pitch. Bregman gloves it. No play at second. He'll get Robert on the move at first. On to second base goes Moncada. 4 pitches, 2 outs and a man aboard. And that'll bring up Jose Abreu. The Astros are the better defensive team. They're the only team that has committed an error in this series, though. They've got a couple on the infield. Brantley, Myers, and Tucker left to right in the outfield. Bregman has an error in game 1. Correa, Altuve up the middle. Gurriel had the error on that very strange fielder's choice play involving Yasmani Grandal in game 3. We know what Martin Maldonado and Machete can do behind the plate.
I was a little surprised right there, Adam, that Bregman didn't set his feet and get the lead runner. I thought he had enough time to get the lead runner, Moncada at second base. Instead, he took the more sure out at first, but I would like to have seen him try to get the lead runner right there.
Now Abreu has an RBI chance with that runner at second. There's that breaking ball, and Abreu fouls it back. Let's go back to the Bregman play.
I know he's coming in. It's a little bit of a chopper. It's not hit that softly. Moncada doesn't get a great break. Normally, you'd like to see your second baseman kind of set his feet and make that throw, but he goes right to first right away. Gets the sure out, but as a pitcher, Wayno, I'm sure you'd like to have him get that lead runner at second.
Love to get that lead runner, and you know, Nolan Arenado spoiled me this year. I've never seen anybody get the lead out or the lead runner as many times as he did, but that is a huge thing for a pitcher, keeping him off second base.
0-1 on Abreu from McCullers. I'm just marking that down, by the way. That is the first Cardinal teammate mention of the day. So
there'll be a few. There'll be a few.
No problem.
One thing the McCullers does a really good job of, you notice the first pitch was right down the middle, but it started at the hitter. He has so much movement in his pitches. All his pitches that are strikes look like balls out of the hand, so it's hard to really time that up as a hitter. And all of his balls look like strikes out of the hand. So you're going to get a lot of chase, and you're going to get a lot of weird takes.
1-1. Breaking ball down and away. 2-1 on Abreu.
It looks like to me they're all sitting off speed. Anderson first pitch, slider, swung. Right, normally take that pitch. Abreu's seen 3 sliders. He fouled off the strike, and he's taken 2 fairly decent sliders here from McCullers without really any offer at him. Right, so to me that tells me as a catcher that they're looking slider or breaking ball. I mean, Moncada got a changeup. First pitch he got a heater in. Normally he goes on that. Second pitch changeup off the plate. He goes out and gets it for a base hit. That tells me they're sitting off speed.
I think you have to try to take that stuff. The problem is, are you going to hit it? It's not easy to hit it.
Abreu launches it down the right field line, foul. So AJ, let me ask you this: when, if at all, do you start making adjustments in the game plan that you've created with your starting pitcher?
Well,
do you make that adjustment?
You saw it right there.
Okay.
He threw a heater 2-1 to Jose Abreu. He was late. I mean, really late on it. I mean, he was inside of it, you know, trying to stay inside of it, do the right thing, but he was late on that ball. Normally, Jose Abreu in an advantageous count for him, 2-1, he's trying to get the head out on the heater instead, because he's seen breaking balls and he knows what McCullers features. You start early. You start right now. If you're Maldonado, you say, okay, you look at the swing, you say, all right, looks like they're sitting breaking ball. We might have to throw some more heaters.
2 outs, a runner at second, and a 2-2 pitch to Abreu. And Maldonado with the stop behind the plate in the dirt. The count runs full.
But see, he's not even, like, there's not even a flinch on those pitches, Wayno. That's a out of the hand. Okay, ball. I see slider. It's a ball, right? That's the adjustment as a catcher you see, and when you have to start thinking, okay, maybe we need to try something else, or make him bring it more into the strike zone for these guys.
Especially to Abreu here. If you know he's leaning out over, trying to take that breaking ball from you, I love the fastball in. You throw the fastball away, he's already kind of leaning out there. He can still shoot that ball to right. Get him right here with the fastball in, I believe, is there. Or you got to go you got first base open. I know you got a tough hitter on deck, but first base open right here with one of the best hitters in all of baseball. I'm throwing a chase slider if I'm him, or a sinker off the plate in to see if I can get him to chase.
Abreu, more RBIs than anybody in baseball in the American League the last 3 years. Went to the fastball and missed it low. It is a ball, and it's ball 4. 2-out base runner.
I like that pitch, though. I don't mind that pitch. It's a heater down and away, but that's the last pitch Jose Abreu was looking for. He tried to dot a fastball. And like you said, Wayno, if he walks him right there, it's not the end of the world.
That's right.
And it's only 10 pitches in this inning. The first 3 hitters saw 4 pitches combined. That was a 6-pitch plate appearance for Abreu to draw the 2-out walk.
Both these lineups have very deep lineups, but you still, as a starting pitcher, you have the guy in your mind that you're not going to let beat you in that game. And Jose Abreu has to be that guy for the White Sox.
Certainly. Well, here's Grandal, who's 1 for 10 in the series, but the hit was a big one, the 2-run home run to get the White Sox going offensively in Game 3. There's the breaking ball for a strike on Grandal. The White Sox to this point had 20 hits. All of them were singles until this 2-run home run from Grandal to cut the lead from 5-1 to 5-3. That started the White Sox rally. Garcia would have the 3-run home run later in the inning to take the lead. Grandal, 6 of his 12 playoff hits in his career are home runs. The 0-1. Big cut on another breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Well, that's the key to Grandal. You heard him say it. We heard him say it after the game. Oh, they're just kind of flipping balls up there to me. But Lance McCullers Jr., he's not going to flip him sliders. If he can throw sliders like that, Grandal's going to have a tough time. He doesn't hit breaking balls very well, especially ones in the zone. He just makes you throw so many pitches and lays off so many that you think, oh, I got to make better ones. But McCullers, if he throws his normal breaking ball, he can get Grandal.
0-2. Down and away. McCullers, 28 years of age, from Tampa, first-round pick in 2012, made his debut in 2015. All-Star in 2017, famously pitched 4 innings in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series against the Yankees. Those 24 straight curveballs. He's added the slider this year. There it is, another breaking ball, and he gets Grandal to end the inning and leave 2 men stranded. Kyle Tucker is due up 3rd in the 2nd for the Astros. He has been as productive as anybody in the lineup. A couple of home runs and 7 driven in. The lefty will bat 3rd against Carlos Rodon in the 2nd. Carlos Rodon hit 99 on the final pitch of that first inning. Had a few of them up around 98, 99. 2 strikeouts of Bregman and Alvarez. He retired Brantley, Bregman, and Alvarez with Altuve in scoring position. StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, shows that 6 of his 7 fastballs in the first were above 96. His last start 2 weeks ago, he had his lowest average fastball velocity of the season, just a shade under 91, against a pretty decent Reds lineup. Last time he had this many fastballs with this velocity was mid-July against the Astros, when he struck out double digits in a White Sox win on a Sunday here at Guaranteed Rate Field. An 0-1 to Carlos Correa. 0-2. Good off-speed mix that time from Rodon. Correa just 2 for 10 in his career against Carlos Rodon. Down to the count here.
So far, we've seen him mix that upper 90s fastball in with a good curveball and also a hard slider, too. So he's mixing all 3 of those in for strikes. That could be tough.
Correa golfs one into left field. Jimenez typically plays deep, so there's a lot of green grass for that ball to find. And Carlos Correa is aboard with a leadoff single. Back-to-back innings, the Astros have put the leadoff man on base. 2-strike hitting from Correa.
A little bit of a mistake by Carlos Rodon. He threw him 2 really nasty sliders. First 2 pitches almost down. That one, I don't know, Wayno, do you think he tried to make it a little bit better, therefore hung it a little bit? Yeah, that one was in an area where Correa could get to it.
That's that thing. We talked about this yesterday. When you throw that really nasty one under the zone and they chase it and then you bring it back the same pitch in the strike zone, that can work against you sometimes as a pitcher.
Here's Gurriel taking ball 1.
One thing the White Sox have done to Gurriel, they've really pitched him inside, at least early in the counts. In the first 3 games, you see he's 1 for 12. They've really established a heater into him and then tried to get him out with balls off the plate away. But usually early in games, early in at-bats, they've gone in on Gurriel.
Gurriel, batting champ, just 1 hit in the set so far. And he's ahead of the count, 2-0. Rodon, top 10 in the American League with 185 strikeouts for Tony La Russa this year. Infield plays back against Gurriel and waits for this 2-0. Off the end of the bat, popped up. Abreu over, and he's got it for out number 1. So man aboard with one out for Kyle Tucker as we get a look at his player resume, sponsored by Indeed. Here's what he's done so far in the American League Division Series. A guy with a lot of postseason experience. First Houston player with back-to-back 3+ RBI games in Astros playoff history. He's been the hottest hitter since the All-Star break in Major League Baseball, the best OPS. And not a guy who seemingly gets rattled by anything. You talk to some of the beat writers around the Astros, they all have very good things to say about Tucker, who's not going to give you much in an interview. He's just very even-keeled, very cold-blooded, very low heart rate. You know, you hear all those terms about athletes and how they can mentally get into a good space. Tucker seems like one of those guys. It was huge in Game 3. He swings at the first offering.
That's the one you want to hit. If you're Tucker, that first pitch slider, we talked about it the other night, that lefty slider is a lefty that starts at you. That's a mistake, right? That's right down the middle. That's the one you're like, oh, how did I miss that? Now I'm going to get two nasty sliders.
Wayno and AJ, you guys have talked about it. Those sliders, if you can start them at the hip, great. But if you can get one to force a hitter to lean out, even better. Try to right there.
I think the most impressive thing for me with Tucker is his takes in situations. Not most guys, he's still young or very aggressive, and he's been so hot. You normally want to swing, but he's taken so many good pitches from the White Sox in these 3 games.
Above average on base percentage this year for Tucker, well above average OPS. And they'll take one down in the zone. And for a ball, it's 2-1 on Kyle Tucker.
Hitters that don't chase just bring so much more complexity to an at-bat for a pitcher. I mean, you know you got to get a hitter out in the strike zone. That can be really tough. Luckily, this guy's got electric stuff that he can get people out in or out of the zone.
Here's a 2-1. Pitch on the outside edge for a strike. 95 on the velocity that time.
I like that sequence right there. You throw a slider off the plate, he doesn't chase. You bring back a fastball on the same plane. He takes it for strike 3 or for strike 2. Now if you throw a slider out there, he swings at it. You throw a fastball out there, he's already showed you he's going to swing out there. That could be dangerous. Then you got to go somewhere else. But because he took that slider away, you work the fastball at the same plane. A lot of times you're going to get a take there.
Flips that one foul.
So why not rush a heater up and in on him right here?
I love that.
You guys are putting down the fingers and shaking yes to the signs, the two of you right now. I like that you guys are on the same page.
Especially 99. Throw one up. Get him to chase. You can always go 3-2 slider if he doesn't chase it, right? Or try to paint that fastball away like you did.
There's not many times 99 on the hands doesn't work very good. Right? So I've heard. I've never tried it myself. So I've heard.
Runner at first and a 2-2. Tucker fouls another one back.
Velo just down though a little bit, right, from the first inning. It was up and in 96 though, as opposed to 99, and that's why Tucker was just enough to get a piece of it. But 99, that's by.
And sometimes that could be the difference in first inning, big adrenaline pump, and second inning. We were interested to see what he was going to come out looking like, but he's still, he's still hanging in there. He's still 96. Now I think we've seen a 97, bunch of 94s, good slider, still with good velocity. So he's hanging it. He's hanging in there.
It may not be 98 consistently, but it's a lot better than I think a lot of people expected to see. There's a 2-2. Tucker laces one towards left, but that is playable for Jimenez. 2 away here in the second. Correa back to first. A lengthy at bat. You see the range thus far for Carlos Rodon. 99 was the high. You're seeing a little bit of lower velocity in this inning. Ethan Katz is making his way out to check on Rodon, the pitching coach in his first year with the White Sox.
This is an interesting pitching meeting right here for me. He worked a really good at bat right there to Tucker, tough hitter. I don't know. I don't really. Maybe they're just going over strategy here. Maybe they've come up with a new game plan.
What's the strategy? Get Myers out so Maldonado, who hasn't got a hit all series, leads off. I mean, he was in a good rhythm. He was going good. Through 96, the last pitch up. I mean, Tucker hit it okay, 97, but.
Sometimes you're looking at, as a pitcher, you're like, dude, let me roll right here.
You saw Rodon when he heard timeout. He kind of looked over his shoulder like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. You want to look over your thing. There's no way they're warming somebody up right now, right? And look, they're not.
No, there's nobody in the bullpen or anything yet.
Is that overcoaching?
You never know what they're talking about. Maybe they're, trying to figure out presents to give for,
a little Bull Durham sequence here.
Are nice,
Guys, I need a chicken. 2 away for Jake Myers, the rookie. First appearance against Carlos Rodon. He swings at the first offering and flies it out to right.
Good meeting.
There's Garcia to put the inning away. Leadoff man has been on base for Houston both times. They've both been stranded. Tom Verducci will be with Ethan Katz on the other side.
And welcome back to Guaranteed Rate Field and ALDS Game 4, which is scoreless thanks to the early work of Carlos Rodon. We are joined by White Sox pitching coach Ethan Katz. And Ethan, you took a trip out to the mound, 2 outs in that second inning. What did you see to prompt the visit?
Just something that was on my mind that I saw that we needed to address right there, and I think we took care of it.
We got the out on the next pitch. We also saw Carlos hit 99 for the first time in 3 months. What are the early signs you've seen from Carlos after 26 pitches?
We like what we're seeing. I mean, the stuff is really good. Now we just got to monitor and make sure he's still feeling good after every single inning, and he's going to maintain his strength.
Ethan, thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back to you, Adam.
Tom, thank you very much, and we appreciate Ethan Katz joining us and giving that immediate insight, because all of us were very curious as to what they were looking at and what maybe they saw. 2 balls and a strike on Eloy Jimenez here.
Tom, what was the thing he saw so we can know? Thanks, Tom.
I think, you know what, I wonder if he was tipping something. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if he was giving something away in his delivery and he wanted to go out there and nip that in the bud.
Jimenez bounces it to Bregman at third. A little bobble, but he controls it for out number 1. Jimenez retired to start the bottom of the second inning. Ethan Katz and Carlos Rodon back at it. Katz succeeded Don Cooper as the pitching coach. Cooper had been with the organization for 3+ decades.
Maybe Ethan was discussing his mid-inning snack there with the apple.
I love it. I love it.
He's got a lot of nervous energy. Well, he's not sitting down. I mean, he's bouncing off the wall.
It's like
got
a
the hoodie
boxer.
on and everything. Yeah, he's got the. It looks like he's getting ready for a prize fight. McCullers to Sheets in there for a strike.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep that nutrition as you're going. The really good golfers, they try to eat every 3 or 4 holes in golf. And
Gavin Sheets lifts one in the air, deep center field, back towards the wall. Myers leaps. It's out of here. White Sox take the lead here in Game 4. First career playoff home run for Gavin Sheets. It's 1-0 Chicago, but the concern is with Jake Myers, who went all the way to the wall to try to make the play on that ball, and he is down and being checked on by Brantley and Tucker. Gavin Sheets, who hit 11 home runs in his rookie campaign, gets his first of the playoffs. But the check is on Myers right now from the training staff.
Myers gives it everything he has, just short, and then he goes shoulder first into the wall. See him grab his left arm right away.
Yes.
Never good.
Jammed that right into him, didn't he?
Like Jake Meyers has been really important. He has been productive in a few plate appearances. He is the natural center fielder between him and Chas McCormick, who started game 2. McCormick is a corner outfielder who can play center. Meyers is a natural center fielder with above average defense. That's why he's been in there as a rookie in the playoffs. He is being tended to right now in center field after a great effort on that play. McCormick, you see him in the dugout. He may have to enter this game if Meyers is unable to continue. He had to be helped up. They're being very careful with him, as you can tell. Now the glove being grabbed by Chas McCormick. Meyers has had a couple of RBIs in this series, one in game 1 and one in game 3. He's making his 3rd start of this ALDS. 25-year-old from Omaha. McCormick, the 26-year-old from Pennsylvania, may be getting ready to come on. And it does look like Meyers is going to leave this game. Boy, great effort by Meyers. He went all out, and immediately AJ pointed that out. He put his glove on his shoulder. You could tell he was in immediate pain and discomfort out of the gate. After all that, it's 1-0 White Sox as Gavin Sheets lifts one out.
Well, familiar pitch sequence from Lance McCullers Jr. Lefties, both lefties that have come up, or all 3 lefties. Moncada first pitch heater in, which he did to Sheets, right? Grandal, he just went slider, 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 runners in scoring position. Moncada, nobody on, first pitch heater in, off speed away. Right there to Sheets, first pitch heater in, and he tried to go backdoor slider, and Sheets was ready for it.
Oh, wow. How about this? I thought there was no way, after seeing how careful they were being with Meyers, that he would stay in this game. Now there's an opportunity here for him to stay as he continues to loosen up that left arm, that throwing arm.
Those deep breaths he's taking. See where he's like, you know,
he's like kind of wincing through the throws, right?
Those are not going to be easy, I can tell you. Man, a great effort. The ball hit the top of the fence.
Yeah, bounced over.
Dang, he went a long ways after that ball too.
Dusty's telling him, listen, if you're hurt, we can't have you out here. And I think what he's saying is, I can throw, but I can't throw hard. If you kind of read his lips a little bit. But Dusty can't take a chance. If there's somebody gets on second, there's a base hit to him, you've got to have a guy out there that has an opportunity. And it stinks for Meyers.
Man, big time stinks. He does not want to come out of this game. He's playing really well. You want a guy like that on your team.
Sure.
A guy who wants to stay out there. Now, whether the manager keeps you out there or not, but you want the guy who wants to be in there. If that's the guy that's like, you know, he wants out immediately, that's usually not a gamer type player. This guy, you could tell he wants in there bad. It just, he might be hurt. You know, that looked painful.
So now Chas McCormick will get ready to step in. They put up very similar numbers. There was a lot of question, well, who are you going to go with? You're going to go with Meyers or McCormick in center? And both have started in this series already. McCormick started game 2 of this set. Had a sacrifice fly, had a base hit, had a walk, had a productive day at the plate as well. Made 29 starts in center field over the course of this regular season. So he'll come in for Meyers. You can slot him into the 8-hole in the lineup.
So AJ, as a left-handed hitter, as a pitcher, I'm thinking I like those breaking ball for strikes. The bigger breaking ball, curveball, better than the slider. A lot of times coming into a hit. Now he's got a different kind of slider, so it can be tougher. But sometimes that curveball for strikes plays better than the slider for strikes. Those left-handed hitters. Do you agree with that?
I agree, especially one coming into a left-handed hitter. Most left-handed hitters are good down and in. But if you throw that breaking ball that doesn't get out of the strike zone, that's easy for a lefty. Seems like more than a righty to drop the head.
Here's Garcia. He will take a breaking ball. We'll see what happens with Myers going forward in this series. Here's an 0-1 to Garcia, and he taps it foul. Quickly 0-2 the count on Garcia, who had the go-ahead home run in that rally in Game 3 in the 3rd inning. A 3-run shot, the first postseason home run of Garcia's career. McCullers trying to put him away with an 0-2 and tried the backdoor breaking ball. So again, 1-0 after the Sheets home run.
You mentioned how much you like gamers. Well, Myers played for a pretty good gamer, Darren Erstad at Nebraska.
That's right.
So Darren Erstad never wanted to come out of a game.
Garcia chases one out of the zone. Good pitch from McCullers to get the second out of the inning. His second strikeout.
Nasty changeup working right off those sliders that you're seeing coming into you right there. Starts on the same plane, works it away with the nasty changeup. That's a great pitch. Good sequence right there.
You really see that side spin with that circle change grip. Two away for Cesar Hernandez. Big cut facing McCullers. It goes back to the off speed there, mixing that in on early counts and on first pitches so far.
Another good changeup. What was the pitch usage on the changeup earlier? I didn't see that in the graphic. I forgot to look at that part of it.
Well, he only throws it to lefties. He very rarely throws a changeup to righties. But in the first game, in Game 1, I believe it was 10% to changeups to lefties. It was around 10%. It was.
A little lower than his average usage. His average is about 14% for the year.
But they don't have a ton of lefties.
Exactly. It's a right-handed heavy lineup.
14%. So he only throws it to lefties 14% of the time.
Opponents only hit 183 on that changeup this year. He only allowed one home run off of it this season.
I'm just thinking as a hitter, that's a pitch you cannot be ready for. You know you got to respect the slider. You know you got to respect the curveball and the fastball. The last thing in your mind is a changeup. So he could really put that to work today.
He threw 11 changeups in Game 1.
There's a 3-1 to Hernandez. Gets the top of the zone and in there for a strike. Both pitchers have had the benefit of a call in the early part of this game.
Could have been in a little bit of a makeup there. The one before I thought was a for sure strike that was called a ball, and that one was very borderline, called a strike. So back to square one.
Yeah, it all evens out in the wash. Payoff pitch. That's just what they tell you pitchers anytime you get a call against you. You go, oh, it'll all even out eventually. They just want to calm you down more than anything else. The 9-hitter, though, works a 2-out walk. And back to the top of the order for Anderson. Back down to the field we go, and Tom Verducci.
Yeah, guys, you talk about his changeup. We know Lance got a great slider, great curveball. He actually calls the changeup his best pitch based on how it reads on a TrackMan. You can see it comes off his middle finger, and look at the spin. It's very unusual. On a clock, that would be, let's say, 9-3 side spin. He actually calls that pitch the UFO because it's so difficult for a hitter to read. And he says he gets his funkiest swings off that pitch.
Oh, you saw that spin, that saucer-like spin that he had on the changeup that he got the strikeout onto Garcia. 0-1 on Anderson. 10 of 10 first pitch strikes for McCullers.
2 walks already. We mentioned he led the league in walks, right?
76
0 walks. His first start, Game 1. 1 2/3 in, already 2 walks against the Whites. They've made adjustments. He's making adjustments. They're laying off a little bit more than they did in Game 1.
There's an 0-1.
One thing I love about the playoffs, you're going to face the same team twice if you pitch early in the series, and that could be a real challenge anyways, but especially in playoff atmosphere where everybody's playing like it's the last moment they'll ever play baseball. That can be a real challenge, and that is so fun as a pitcher and as a hitter, man. You love that kind of stuff.
Fouled away, and it's 1-2 on Tim Anderson. And again, kind of gives you a sense for how important Dusty Baker felt this game was. He's going back to a guy that this White Sox team obviously hasn't hit well this year, but has already seen just a few days ago. So he said, as AJ mentioned in the open, Dusty Baker is shooting his shot. He's putting his best starter out there to try to put this series away on the road.
Well, and he gets his best 2 starters, right?
Yeah,
even
Framber
if something
Valdez in
happens,
Game 5. If
you get Framber Valdez at home. Was pitched well at home against the White Sox twice this year.
Both on normal rest.
1-2. Anderson, good defensive swing to fight that one off. Tim Anderson off to a red-hot start in his playoff career. If he were not to record a hit in this game, it would still be a record for most hits in a 7-game span to start a postseason. 16 hits already for Tim Anderson, the spark plug at the top of this White Sox order.
I would have thought Randy Arozarena had that. I thought he had more hits than at bats last year in the postseason.
That's what it felt like. Felt like that at times this year too. 2-2 on Anderson.
He just had more homers than at bats.
That's right. That's what it felt like.
Every time he went up last year was a home run.
Well, the train kept moving last night for Arozarena. He was part of that 5-run Tampa Bay comeback, but of course the walk-off from Vasquez. And if the Astros win today to put away the series, they will get ready for their next contest, which will be Game 1 against Boston in the ALCS. White Sox trying to extend their season and series to a Game 5. Anderson goes down swinging. Another good breaking ball from Lance McCullers Jr. Myers got hurt earlier in this inning on the home run. He's out. It was the Gavin Sheets blast, the 3rd home run in his last 2 games for the White Sox. It's 1-0 Chicago. 6 is giving you a chance to win $5 grand of Big Papi's money during tonight's game. He may even make it rain in the studio if you get a chance to win tonight. It's free to play. Just enter now before the contest closes for your chance at $5 grand. You can scan the QR code now, download the app, and play for free. The Sheets home run has given Chicago the lead to the 3rd in Game 4. The 9-hitter is Martin Maldonado to face Carlos Rodon, who averaged about 97 on the fastball in the 1st, down to about 95 in the 2nd. Maldonado seeking his first hit of the series. He's 0 for 8 lifetime against Carlos Rodon. Maldonado swings at the first offering.
Yes.
Tony alluded to something before the game today. He said sometimes he starts low and then kind of builds his fastball velocity as he goes. Maybe he's just jumping it around. You know, maybe he's on purpose changing speeds with it, which is real pitching.
That time at 93 in there for a strike. There's the averages for the first couple of frames. He struck out the last 2 in the 1st. The leadoff man reached base in both innings for the Astros, but left stranded. Oh, 2 to Maldonado. Fouled away. Maldonado, just a 172 hitter during the regular season. He is in there to manage the pitching staff and to call good games and to play good defense, and he has done that throughout this season. Another 0-2. A defensive swing and a good job spoiling another pitch by Maldonado.
He's got him sped up, doesn't he, AJ?
I'm waiting for that back foot slider.
Yeah, we've got 4 heaters in a row now. AJ wants the back foot slider. I want the changeup down and away. Either one I think plays well.
Grandal flashes him behind the plate. Breaking ball is fouled up the line at 3rd.
Thank you, Yasmani and Carlos, for listening to me instead of Wayno.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, he fouled it off.
Well, it wasn't a very good one, though.
He'd have thrown the changeup down away to swing.
I wish you guys could sit in the booth next to these two when they have like their own personal competitions. Like, no, I bet it's going to be a changeup. No, I bet it's going to be a slider.
I like something that looks hard, though. He shook the curveball there from slider. I like something that looks hard that's not hard. You know, the slider, the changeup, more than I like the big curveball after 4 straight heaters.
Another 0-2. Throws him with the breaking ball at the knees. Third strikeout for Rodon, 1 away.
AJ 1, Wayno 0. Is that what that is?
That's 2 in a row. Thank you, Carlos and Yasmani.
Yeah, but you know, you would have saved a pitch and got the same result with a changeup down.
That was nasty. There's nothing you can do after all those heaters away. And then you start that one, it looks like a fastball away, ends up on the strike zone, inner third of a plate. As a hitter, 4 pitches away, 90, 93, 94, just tough.
Here is Altuve, who swung at the first pitch of the game and doubled it to left. 20 straight division series games he has been on base. 1-0 on Altuve.
That's why you don't throw the changeup.
Yeah, but that would have been, you know, it's a swing and miss.
Well, that was a product of Altuve swinging at the first pitch and hitting a double. They're thinking, we don't want to give him anything in. We're going to try something. We're going to try and trick him here. Right? Instead, we throw a lawn dart and we're down 1-0.
What is Jose's walk rate this year? Do we have that?
We do.
Because he's usually not up there to walk. This guy's, he wants to swing the bat. You can use that against him sometimes.
Oof. Got a piece. Of course, the fans here in Chicago will appreciate that. Altuve has been hearing it all season on the road, obviously. The chants against Altuve in particular were the most colorful, let's say, on Sunday night. Checked on Altuve quickly, and he is aboard. For the second time, he's on with 1 out.
Well, as much as White Sox fans want to think that was intentional, it hit him on the pad, but that was not intentional. He was just trying. He tried to go in on him first pitch of the game. He rifled it down the left field line for a double. That one he was just making sure he didn't leave it out over the plate. Threw it in. If he hit him, I think he's upset about hitting him. White Sox fans clearly weren't upset that he hit him, but
right. Even though it's kind of technically against their best
it is
interest.
against their best interest, but.
Matchup wise, too, Altuve is a fastball up hitter. He loves the ball up. And we've seen a lot of fastballs up today from Rodon. You know, so he's got to get his feet moving. He's got to make him feel more uncomfortable in the box or start dotting that fastball down, which is not something we've seen. We've seen him use the off-speed low and the fastball up today a lot. Get that fastball down to Jose, that's a good pitch. But you start throwing those thigh to,
ones,
those thigh to belt to Jose Altuve is usually going to get hit real hard.
We talked about his pull power. Here's Brantley. He'll take a strike on the outer edge. Just to clean that up for you, Wayno, it was a career high walk rate for Altuve, just a shade under 10%, about 1.5 percentage points above league average. But he is aboard. Astros do not have a hit with a man on base yet. They were 0 for 6 in the first 2 innings. 0-1. Just missed on Brantley. Tried to go up and in there.
I love that pitch, though. Even though it's not a strike, he's going to try and get him out with breaking balls and pitches away. That's just a show me fastball up and in. Hey, get off of my plate, Michael Brantley. I own the outside. Get off of my plate.
You have to give Michael Brantley a lot of looks, a lot of different looks. You can't get him out the same way 2 or 3 times in a row. You're going to have to get him out hard, slow, and medium speed probably in 3 at-bats.
There's a 1-1. Fouled away. And we talked about this with plenty of people around baseball. Brantley's feet are so good in the box that if he's set and you throw to a spot where it's in his wheelhouse because his feet are set, that's when he gets the doubles. If you make him move his feet a little, then he might get a little uncomfortable.
1-2.
Chicago leading 1-0 in the third. 1 on, 1 out, and a 1-2 coming to Brantley from Rodon. Brantley takes just off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good take. What a take right there. After all the pitches he's seen, and then to get one, I mean, just off the plate away. I don't know how you take this pitch. I mean, it's a good 4 inches off the plate, but that starts with where Rodon throws on the mound and his angle. That's a strike for a long time.
Two-two to Brantley. Popped up foul. Brantley now 34 years of age, from Washington, raised in Florida. 7th round pick by the Brewers all the way back in 2005. Landed with the Indians in that CC Sabathia trade. Made his major league debut in 2009. Fabulous all-star season in 2014. He's been an all-star a couple of times. Re-signed this year for a couple of seasons. 5-time all-star now in his major league career.
He's a little late to the heater right now. If he can locate a fastball in, he's going to have a good chance, but I think he's going to go breaking ball away. We'll see.
2-2, breaking ball. Brantley lifts it in the air. Into right center. Robert holds off Garcia. 2 away.
He got away with one right there. That was a hanger. That was one Michael Brantley normally doesn't miss. This is one right down the middle. And see Brantley's disappointment. He drops to one knee because he cannot believe that's the one he was looking for, and he just missed it.
Fastball in right there. Just watching his kind of defensive swings on those heaters that were kind of out over the plate right there, where he's just kind of fouling them off, trying to get to something else. I think you're right. I think he was looking for that breaking ball away right there. He got the one he wanted, missed it. But you know what? That's why they play the game.
Here is Bregman with Altuve at first and 2 out. Peel down to first. No swing, says Chad Fairchild. 1-0 on Bregman, who struck out on a heater in the first inning from Rodon.
Look, if I was a left-handed hitter, if I was facing Carlos Rodon, I'd be looking slider too. Especially, I'd say, okay, I'd go up there and say, okay, first pitch, I'm looking heater. I'm going to try everything in my power to be ready for a first pitch heater out over the plate, dive out over. Then from there on out, I'm going battle mode, looking for sliders, because he's eventually going to throw you one to get you out. That's his out pitch more than likely. And if he can throw 3 pitches into me as a left-handed hitter and get me out, you walk back to the dugout, tip your cap. But the approach that the left-handed hitters so far we've seen from Alvarez, who he punched out with 100 up. We saw Brantley get a breaking ball, ground ball, missed a breaking ball, and even Tucker, who had a great at bat, has been, hey, we're looking out over the plate, we're going to try and get a breaking ball mistake.
And it's not a normal thing for a lefty to be able to control that inside part of the plate to another left-handed hitter, is it? That's pretty unique.
Oh, it's very rare. That's what made guys like Scott Downs, who was a reliever for a long time, Mark Burley. Although he didn't throw 100, he threw 85, but he would sink it in on lefties, throw a changeup. It made lefties were so, because you don't see it, they're just uncomfortable at bats.
Altuve goes. A strike, and Grandal could not unload the throw. Altuve has the 2nd Houston steal of this series. He was 5 for 8 during the regular season. And a man in scoring position once again for Houston.
And no chance for Grandal. He goes first move off of Rodon. Rodon high leg kick. Grandal did the smart thing by not throwing it. He had absolutely 0 chance.
Now base hit could score Altuve. He's the tying run. A 1-1 to Bregman. Down and inside.
I need that pitch. That looked good.
You want high, low, in, out, up, down.
You know that.
In the other batter's box.
Waito's like, listen, if I let this ball go and it lands in the catcher's mitt, I want that strike. That's how he's feeling.
Well, I mean, you can want it and wish, but that's not a strike. That's low and in.
A 2-1 to Bregman. Fastball misses away.
So here, Waino, right? You have Alvarez on deck, left-handed hitter with Rodon. This is a pitch right here. This has got to be either a perfectly located fastball but you cannot let Bregman beat you with a runner on second and 2 outs.
Even though Jordan's a super talented hitter, man, I mean, that's the tough thing about these great lineups is there's no breaks. You know, there's really no breaks. You got almost MVP and then almost MVP right behind him. So you pick your poison. But I agree with you. 3-1 count. You can't give in right here.
Here it comes. Fastball just missed outside. A 2-out walk issued by Rodon. Bregman's aboard, and that will bring up Alvarez. Alvarez came to the plate with Altuve at third in the first inning. Got down to the count 0-2. Worked it to 1-2. And then this was the fastball that got him. Elevated at 99.
What a good at bat by Bregman right there. He took some really close pitches. He didn't give in either, right? He stayed in his approach. He was looking for one pitch in the middle of the plate, didn't get it, took his walk and passed the baton. That's what these good winning ball clubs do. They're okay passing the baton to the next guy because they trust the guy behind them.
That's also, like you said, he's smart. Bregman's smart. He's been in these situations. He knows who's behind him. He knows Rodon's not going to give in to him right there.
He leaves it for Alvarez. 2 on, 2 out in the third. Upstairs to start. I showed you Alvarez's splits against righties and lefties. He hits both very well. Rodon is the type of pitcher that actually has what are called reverse splits. You think the left-handers are going to struggle more than right-handers against a left-handed pitcher, when in fact lefties hit better against Rodon, at least batting average wise, than right-handers.
Well, only 104 at bats by lefties.
Yeah, and again, you have to take the sample size of it.
No, but the lefties that are playing against him aren't your hitting 8th, 9th in the order lefties. They're your 3, 4, 5 lefties that never come out of a lineup. So that stat can be a little bit misleading at times with that. And La Russa on the phone saw some things. I've noticed the last couple hitters, Rodon looks a little bit less comfortable. Looks maybe a little bit fatigued. He's at 47 pitches, and we have Michael Kopech up, who I thought La Russa said was unavailable today, but guess that wasn't true.
We mentioned that earlier. Wayno says, yeah, they're unavailable till they're not.
This is the playoffs, man.
Yep.
You do anything you can to win a game, especially where they are right now, down 2-1. You're going to use your horses.
Kopech with a long outing, 47 pitches and 2 1/3 in Game 3 on Sunday. Obviously, the off day, quote unquote, the rain out yesterday, does at least give both managers a little bit of rest time for their bullpen guys.
But they have protected him so much the entire year, right? If he pitched more than 1 inning, it was usually 3 days off.
2-1. Alvarez fouls it away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 out in the top of the third. Two. Fouled away.
This is a long inning also for Carlos. This is his 25th pitch this inning. So he had been cruising first 2 innings. He gave off leadoff hits, but after that he cruised through the next 3 hitters. This has been the first high stress inning for Carlos Rodon.
We're at 50 pitches right now.
69 pitches in his last start, 69 the one prior. 86 on September the 10th. There's a 2-2 again to Alvarez from Rodon. Down the left field line, foul.
He's getting closer and closer. Rodon's trying to reach back and get it by him, and Alvarez is getting closer. The first one was fouled off. They're slowly getting closer, Wayno, to that left field line. Now is a good time. Slider ball down and away.
Yeah, you got to get him chasing here. He's in swing mode right now. But you see him emptying the tank right now. He was back up to 97 miles an hour right there. I think he knows he's getting kind of towards the end of his rope, and I also think he knows that this moment right here might be the game. So he's giving you everything he's got right now.
Huge spot. A 2-2 again. Inside 3-2, and you could see Rodon's reaction. He wanted that one. What an at-bat. These last two at-bats have been battles with Bregman and Alvarez.
Bueno also wanted this pitch up here in the booth.
Sure.
That's not a strike. You hardly ever see when a catcher sets up low and away for a breaking ball and it goes all the way back across the plate. Umpires almost never, ever call that. This is a huge pitch right here. I'd go another breaking ball. Runners on the move. Anything in the gap. Bregman, who's been hobbled, gives him an advantage to score on something in the gap.
Just don't try to overthrow right there. That time he tried to make it so good. You know, he's getting a little tired. Just execute it.
This down and away, and that will load the bases. Rodon trying to breathe, trying to stay settled. Ethan Katz in the White Sox dugout. You saw Michael Kopech loosening up in the White Sox bullpen. And you guys both mentioned it. This feels like it could be, and again, usually there's 2 or 3 moments like this each game, but it feels like this is one of those moments that feel like the game. Bases loaded, 2 out, Rodon at 53 pitches, and Carlos Correa, who singled back in the second, at the plate. Altuve was hit, Bregman walked, Alvarez walked.
And 2 great at-bats back-to-back by Bregman and Alvarez. Now Correa, who's 1 for 1, but La Russa told us before Game 3 he didn't want to bring Kopech in with runners on base. He did it. Now here, this is a situation where I'm surprised Kopech's not in the game right here.
Bases loaded for Correa, who fouls the first pitch back. 97 on the gun that time.
Challenge fastball right down the middle.
And Bueno, I see 97 all of a sudden now on the gun, and I know he's reached it plenty of times, but it almost feels like what you were saying. Maybe he knows this might be it, and he's given whatever he has right now.
He is. He's emptying the tank, man. He knows that guy's warming up down there. I can tell you that. He knows that Tony's itching to get out there if he can't get this guy out. And he also knows he wants to come off this mound with double fist pumps if he gets him out right here.
0-1 on Correa. Strike 2. Big spot, Game 4. Oh-2. Correa to left field. That will get down for a base hit. Altuve and Bregman will score, and the Astros take the lead. Correa with a 2-run double in the third.
Oh, no. What an at-bat by Carlos Correa. First of all, this at-bat, you build at-bats, Waino, off the first at-bat. His first at-bat, he got all breaking balls. This at-bat, Rodon went all heaters. He made the adjustment after the first 2 and absolutely rips this ball up for a 2-run single, quiets the crowd, and he gets Carlos Rodon out of the game.
Man, not easy to get on top of a fastball. How high was that? 97 miles an hour again? Not easy to get on top of that really good fastball at the letters like that.
Rodon gives the White Sox everything he could in his first career postseason start, his first outing in 2 weeks, but he's given up the lead. Gurriel's coming up, Kopech is coming in, and the Astros are on top in Game 4. Getting some fist bumps, but clearly frustrated in the White Sox dugout. Billy Hamilton giving him a little bit of love, but Rodon goes 2 2/3. The free passes continue to haunt White Sox pitching in this series. The hit by pitch to Altuve, the walk to Bregman. Alvarez walked, he's at third. The Correa double has put the Astros in front. And here is Yuli Gurriel looking at 97 out of the zone from Michael Kopech, who made his postseason debut in Game 3 on Sunday, pitched 2 1/3.
I'm still trying to figure out why Kopech wasn't in the Game 1 hitter earlier. I know Rodon has owned Correa through his career. You get Kopech up for that moment. You don't wait until you're behind in the game. If I'm Tony La Russa, I have Kopech in that game to get that guy out. Right? Bases low to get Correa out. Now you bring him in, and now Gurriel's thinking, man, this is just gravy, right? If I get a hit here, we're up 4-1. We're thinking about Boston Red Sox possibly. I know it's early in the game, but if it's me, I have a righty ready for that moment. You got to think ahead, right? So, and they have a full bullpen. They have Kopech, they have Lynn, who's down there. They have Tepera. They have all these righties that are ready to go. You could have had, as soon as we talked about it, we saw some signs of Rodon tiring. 2 really long at bats, right? Especially against Alvarez. Boom, bases loaded. Base hit, you're trailing, crowd's out of the game, got to get Gurriel out here.
A 2-0 pitch to Gurriel. That's out of the zone. 3-0 down to Tom Verducci.
Carlos Correa this year led the American League batting average with runners in scoring position at 306. Average is 229. How about this, guys? Dusty Baker, who's been in the game 50 years, called him as good a pressure player as I have been around. High praise.
Been there for so many big moments. There's a strike to Gurriel, 3-1. Correa, the walk-off double in the 17 ALCS against the Yankees. The walk-off home run in the 11th against the Yankees in 2019 to tie that series. Last year, the walk-off against Tampa Bay in Game 5 of the ALCS to force a Game 6 after they've been trailing 3-0 in that set. Free agent to be Correa. He's at second. The pitch to Gurriel is in there for a strike from Kopech. A chance to get out of this inning with just 2 across. The payoff pitch. On the ground, sliding, stopped by Abreu. The flip to Kopech, out at first base, and the inning is over.
What a play.
Abreu has been tagged as probably the best defender for the White Sox at first base. They're on the phone to see if there's going to be any challenge for this play. It was close, but from that angle, it looked like Kopech was there first, but still very close with Gurriel. Great play by Abreu. Chad Fairchild made the call. Close play at first. Man, as close as it gets.
And welcome back to ALDS Game 4, where we are joined by Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker. Dusty, you have called Carlos Correa one of the best pressure players that you have been around. That's very high praise. Another case right there. Why do you think he's such a good pressure player?
Well, because he wants to be there. I think that's number one. And he rises his concentration level to another degree. And, you know, he likes that pressure. And we like to have him up there in pressure.
And you said that hit reminded you of Hank Aaron.
Yeah, it did, because he, like, just wrists it, uses wrist, and then uses his top hand. And usually he doesn't hit a ball like that too often. You know what I mean? That, man, thank you, Hank.
Dusty, there was a scary moment in the game in the second inning. Your center fielder, Jake Myers, running into the outfield. We saw him leave the game. What do you know about his condition, and what did he tell you about wanting to stay in the game?
Well, he wanted to stay in the game, but we don't know anything about his condition yet. And he said he couldn't throw. And he said whenever he tried to throw 50% or higher, it felt like it was going to come out. And so at that point in time, we had to get him out of the game. And I'm just hoping, because this young man has meant a lot to our ball club, and he's a fine young man. So, like, we're hoping that, you know, he's okay.
Dusty, thank you. We always appreciate the time.
All right, man. Thank you.
Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Tom. We appreciate both Ethan Katz and Dusty Baker being with us. Change up to get Moncada for the first out of this bottom of the third, and here is Luis Robert. Bouncing ball to the left side, charging is Correa, had the backhand. You're not going to get the speedy Robert on a slowly developing play, and Robert is aboard. An infield single with one out here in the bottom of the third. 2-1 Astros. They scored twice on the Correa base hit, and with 2 in scoring position, big play by Jose Abreu.
Huge play. And if you're on the mound right there, those moments right there lift you for a couple innings right there. That's a potential game-saving play right there. You know, you kept your team in the game. Is that going to score 2 right there? Probably so, right?
100% that's scoring 2.
You're up 4-1 instead of 2-1 because of an amazing play. That's the great thing about an elite defense out there, and he's a great defensive first baseman. A great defense can go a long, long, long way to winning baseball games.
Here is Abreu taking a strike from McCullers at 96.
Well, Kopech almost forgot to cover first right there. He was late. I think he thought it was a hit right off the bat. When Gurriel hit it, I thought it was a hit. Great play by Abreu to get to it. And then nice wheels by Kopech to beat Gurriel by, what, 2 inches?
2 inches, maybe, yeah.
One and one on Abreu. So this was the play. Watch Kopech. Slight hesitation, yeah.
He forgets.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's one off the bat. You know, anything to the right side, you know you've got to get, right? Like anything towards first base side, you're moving that way no matter what. But off the bat right there, he was going, oh, shoot, that's a hit for sure, you know. And that's when you look around your coaching staff and you go, that's great positioning right there, coaching staff. Way to go, guys.
That's also why you do PFP for 7,000 hours of spring training.
It is.
The catcher loses his voice. You go, get over, get over, get over.
I just feel like Waino's feeling very high and mighty as a defender right now after what we saw the other night off the bat of Justin Turner. I think that's what Waino's.
Did you see that?
Defense. We may have watched it.
I did.
Why'd you show him the ball? I was kind of showing him up. That's not like you.
In the moment things. You don't plan for that, but you know, theatrics.
1-2 to Abreu is down at a
you gotta troll the Dodger fans a little bit.
Oh, look, it happened to be ready in the truck.
Look at those reflexes. That's cat-like.
Cat-like quickness from the 41-year-old.
Take a look, Dodger fans. Yeah.
You held it a little bit long, though.
They got the last laugh on me, but I got the first laugh. I'd rather have the last.
No, you look, Justin. I caught it.
That was more for the fans than Justin. That was more for the fans. And then Justin ended up hitting a homer off me a couple innings later, so he got the last live also. Dang it.
Did he get the ball and walk up?
I hope not. But I guarantee you, a Dodger fan, whoever caught that ball was showing me where it was.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Thrilling wild card game.
Good swing, Justin, you rascal.
Heck of a wild card game. That was a lot of fun to watch, obviously, just as a baseball fan. The Taylor walk-off. Well, you mentioned it. It's guys like Chris Taylor hadn't hit well in the month of September, and he ends up being a hero. That's what you love about playoff baseball. Anybody can be a hero at any time. 2-2 to Abreu. On the ground, could be 2. Correa to Altuve to Gurriel. Abreu ends the inning with a 6-4-3 double play, and McCullers gets that key ground ball. 2-1 Astros to the 4th. Get your game on at MLBshop.com. Authentic on-field caps, tees, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and wear what the champs wear at the official source, MLBshop.com. I love the old school Astros and White Sox jerseys. I love them. They're 2 of my favorites in baseball. The 80s jerseys for both of these teams are fire. Kyle Tucker leads things off against Michael Kopech in the Astros 4th as they lead at 2-1 in the game and 2-1 in this series.
Well, I have no say in the matter, Adam, but if the White Sox somehow could combine their Sox logo with the old batter logo that you're talking about in the 80s, that would be incredible.
The batter logo is awesome.
And just for the record, White Sox City Connect uniforms.
The Southside ones?
They won that battle also.
Yeah, they were one of the best City Connect uniforms in baseball this year, too. The 1-0. Waved on and missed. There is action in the White Sox bullpen as well as Garrett Crochet. The left-hander is loosening up behind Michael Kopech. Going back to game 3 when Kopech retired the last man he faced. The White Sox bullpen has retired 17 consecutive batters. Retired the last 16 of game 3. The 1-1. Down low.
And Tony down there with his shades on. Now, don't kid yourself. If it was a night game, he'd have his shades on too. You know, he's got those ones that change with the
transition lenses.
Yeah, the transition lenses. but somehow they're dark at night. You know, I guess the
LED lights probably
stadium
get them
lights
a lot.
are that bright.
I wonder if when the stadium lights flash, do the transition lens flashes a little bit too. There's a 2-1. 3-1 on Kyle Tucker.
There's so much swag from these two managers. I was looking at Dusty earlier. He's one of my favorite managers to watch because he's got like 47 pieces of flair
That's
on.
right.
You know, he's got both wristbands on. He's got gloves on. He's got the toothpick, which I asked him about earlier. He goes through. He doesn't even know how many. Depends on how his pitchers are doing per game. But it's just really unique. Two characters of the game. Two Hall of Fame. I think Dusty's a Hall of Famer in my mind too. So really, it's a treat to be in front of these guys.
Obviously, these two managers know each other very well. Tucker laces another one to left field. This guy is rock solid right now at the plate. His 5th hit of the ALDS, and he's aboard once again for the Astros. 3 times in 4 innings they've had the leadoff man on base.
Well, game 3 he homered off Kopech, and then today he laces a single. This is the one that he hit really far. And Waino wasn't sure it was going out, but it went out by about 3 rows. And then today, almost the exact same pitch that he hits again, lines it to left field. So Kyle Tucker sees something on Michael Kopech and he likes it.
Just taking what he gives him, right? A little fastball away, not going to try to pull that ball. Going to, you know, you try to pull that, you roll right over to second base. Just took what he gave him, lined it to left. Such a good job hitting right there.
Tucker dives back in safely. So here is Chas McCormick, who entered the game in the 2nd inning for Jake Myers, who went crashing into the wall in center field on the Gavin Sheets home run, which got the White Sox on the board first. Depending on what the health situation of Myers is going forward, they can replace him if there is a game 5 in this series. But if they were to replace him mid-series due to injury, he would not be eligible if Houston were to advance to the American League Championship Series. If Houston were then to go to the World Series, then he would be eligible to come back. The Astros have a taxi squad that travels with them. All the teams do when they're on the road. They have their taxi squad that they can select from. Marwin Gonzalez was probably one of the first cuts off the ALDS roster for position players. The super utility man could play a lot of different spots if need be. Tucker goes, swing and a miss, and Grandal cannot unload the throw.
You got to throw that if you're Yasmani Grandal. He's thinking, oh, McCormick leaned out over the plate. He didn't get a grip, but even if you don't get a grip right away, you throw it away and you scream, ah, he's in my way. See right there? If he just throws that ball and falls down, acts like he's in the way, even though he might not be, you get an out and you save a base. Not that I've ever been known to do that.
I was going to say, have you, AJ, you
familiar.
sound like maybe you've thrown one of those out there once in a while.
Maybe once or 100 times.
That's now 3 stolen bases for the Astros on Grandal in this series. Tucker takes off for 3rd, and he's going to steal 3rd. Kyle Tucker doing it all right now.
And that's on Kopech. Grandal doesn't, he knows right away. When you're catching and you see a guy take off for 3rd, you know right away whether you have a chance or not. And Kopech one-looked him at second. He goes right away, gets a breaking ball. And even if Grandal throws that perfectly, Kyle Tucker steals that easily. And I am shocked the infield's not in yet for the White Sox. They might do the old Bobby Valentine, everyone blitz here right when the pitch comes away now. But right now they're kind of halfway, but Tucker's speed, McCormick hits a ground ball, he'll score on a ground ball, and here they come.
Yeah, now Garcia and Anderson creeping in. Fouled back by McCormick.
Oh, with McCormick, what I'm thinking right now is so many times I've seen a guy who wasn't in the lineup get placed in the lineup last second because of injury or whatever it is. They end up being the heroes so many times.
They don't need a hero. They just need a fly ball to the outfield and try to get another run.
It just happens like that. Those guys always end up making some kind of play that sways the game a lot of times.
One and two on McCormick. Contact, but foul up the line at 3rd.
This is a big at bat right here.
Huge.
Because Maldonado on deck hasn't done anything all series. If he doesn't get him in, I'm calling it now, Dusty Baker will do some kind of either safety squeeze or suicide squeeze with Martin Maldonado.
It's a great call.
The guy is 0 for 12 in the series with 5 strikeouts. Astros by a run with a man at third and nobody out in the fourth. Another 1-2 coming to McCormick. Same spot, fouled down the line. 3 straight he is fouled away.
And for me, Kopech's stuff does not look the same as it did in Game 3 when he came in with all the rest. They're just not as sharp, right? His fastball's not. He's been up a little bit more with his fastball. His breaking ball is not as sharp. Like normally that's a pitch with McCormick. He can put him away. He's shown him 2 now. They've kind of hung a little bit.
McCormick has swung at the last 5 pitches in that span. Tucker has stolen second and third. A 1-2 and another swing, and this time it's fair. Tucker will have to stay at third. Moncada makes the play to get McCormick, and there's the first out of the 4th inning.
Huge out right there. We'll see. Let's see you. See how good you are right here, AJ.
Well, if I'm Dusty Baker, Maldonado can bunt. He can bunt. He bunts for a hit a lot. He knows how to sacrifice bunt.
Good base runner on third.
I'm bringing Abreu in right here. Like he's kind of even with the line. I'm putting him even closer. Second pitch, Wayno. Second pitch. It's a strike. It'll be a second pitch.
Oh, showing bunt. There it is. And it was up and in on him. And he fouls it away.
He's hot. He's hot right now.
Well, you said it. 26 career sacrifice hits for Martin Maldonado in his career. Did not have one this season, but a couple of them last year.
Nobody pitches out anymore, so you don't have to worry about a pitch out. They probably don't even. White Sox might not even have a pitch out sign, right? The only problem is you don't want to. I don't know if you want a suicide squeeze because you have Altuve on deck. Take your chances with him driving him in, possibly if Maldonado doesn't get it done, but he's going to bunt again here.
There's an 0-1. Can show it as much that time, and he takes upstairs. Do you change approach once you have a game plan for every batter, but if you see a bunt on the first pitch, does that change your game plan?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, you go into that situation, he bunts, who bunts and who doesn't bunt. But in this situation, you got Altuve on deck, you got a good fielder at first. You have to be ready to fill your position, but executing the pitch is still first and foremost. It's not easy to lay a good bunt down.
Right here.
You're calling another bunt right here.
2-1.
Could happen.
2-1.
It's not easy to bunt.
Right.
People think it's easy. It is not easy to bunt, especially off a very hard thrower like this with a good breaking ball. It's really, really hard to bunt. So you're hoping your first baseman gets a good jump on it. If you execute a pitch, it's going to be hard to bunt. You're calling high fastball right here?
I'm just calling a pitch you can throw for a strike.
Swings away and fouls it away. That was the fastball at 98 from Kopech.
See what Maldonado did though. And the reason he didn't bunt first pitch was his shot because the infield was a little bit farther back. The White Sox brought Abreu in on the grass. Tim Anderson on the first bunt was closer than Yoan Moncada was, the third baseman. So when he did the bunt, it changed the whole defense. It changed the thoughts. They almost took it away because of the first pitch.
Yeah, when they're played in right there, it's got to be absolutely perfect for it to work.
Infield still in on this 2-2. Hard hit ball, and Maldonado's first hit of the series extends the Astros lead in Game 4.
And that's why you don't bunt right there.
That was a rocket from Martin Maldonado. He had been 0 for 12 with 5 strikeouts in the series to that point. And his first hit and RBI of the set makes it 3-1 Houston.
He gets a heater, I mean, pretty much right down the middle. They tried to go in on him right there, Wayno, and he yanked it back over the middle. And it was 98, but it was struck well. I was a little surprised by the pitch selection. Maybe try to get him to chase the ball either up or in the dirt. But Maldonado does what you're supposed to do with the infield in. Hit it hard and get it to the outfield.
Stayed nice and short, didn't he?
It sounded like it hit your pad.
Fastball, good fastball, running towards him. Not all the way in, not all the way up, not all the way down. Right where he could handle it.
Ethan Katz back out to check on Michael Kopech. While we have a moment, a quick word from Roman.
When it comes to your health, what you do next matters most. Roman, official partner of Major League Baseball.
Altuve coming up with a man at first and one out. Tom Bertucci's down to the field. What do you got, bud?
Yeah, we got Garrett Crochet up in the bullpen, obviously, to match up with Brantley. And giving Michael Kopech a lot of rope here. And, AJ, I think you're right about stuff not being as crisp to be expected after the 47 pitches a couple of days ago.
Really felt like that out of the gate.
Absolutely. His fastball didn't look as sharp. His breaking ball definitely didn't have the bite. But again, he hasn't done this. He's thrown 46 pitches, and normally they give him 3 days off.
Right.
This is 1 day off, right back into a high leverage situation. He got the first out. Tucker got the hit, easily steals second, easily steals third, and now they're back in it with 1 out.
And that's the tail of that run for me. It was not the base hit up the middle, and not the base hit to left.
Altuve swings first pitch and loops it into right field.
The story of that run was forgetting about your runner on first base and second base, allowing those 2 stolen bases. That is a huge thing. And we said yesterday, there's more to pitching than just throwing the pitch over the plate. You have got to control the running game, especially in the playoffs.
That's been a huge problem for the White Sox all season long, both pitchers and the men behind the plate. Most stolen bases allowed in baseball this year. That'll do it for Kopech. 2 of the next 3 hitters for the Astros are lefties. Crochet is coming in. 3-1. NLDS series are in action with a pair of Game 4s. Brewers and Braves have played some tight ones. They'll be at 5 Eastern on TBS. Then Giants, Dodgers. What a performance by Max Scherzer. But the Longoria home run and some great defense and some wind at Dodger Stadium helping out the Giants to a 2-1 series lead if necessary. For this series, we'll be back tomorrow night in Houston for Game 5. Garrett Crochet checks in for his 3rd appearance of the series. He did not pitch in Game 3, but pitched in each of the first 2 in Houston. 2 of the next 3 batters are left-handed, including Brantley, who takes a breaking ball strike.
This guy's filthy. Fastball, upper 90s, really good slider, mixes in a changeup very rarely. Waino, but for a left-handed hitter, that leg kick, funky motion, 100 miles an hour. Although the Astros did get to him in Game 2.
Look at the pants, too. Just a unique, you see a lot of lefties unique like that. They like to have their own swag.
Oof. You didn't have the tight rolled jeans back in, like, when you're listening to New Kids on the Block, like in '87?
Look at that. Look at that. He's got his PF Flyers on. He's
got the white belt. He's got nasty stuff to go along with it. He's ahead of Brantley, 0-2. 2 on, 1 out. And Brantley goes down swinging. Tough pitches from Crochet, and there are 2 away.
No chance. Absolutely no chance.
well, you don't
the last
see,
pitch was the best one he threw.
You don't see Brantley take swings like that too often.
Well, 3 sliders, each one got progressively better. The second one is the one he probably should have hit, but the last one you just have 0 chance. He tried to let the ball get deep. See how he tried to let the ball get deep and just moving away from him.
Here's Bregman with 2 away. Breaking ball misses. Tucker led off the inning against Kopech with a single, stole second, stole third. McCormick grounded out. Maldonado then sent one into center field to extend the Astros lead to 3-1. Altuve followed it up with a single. That's when Kopech departed. Crochet came in, struck out Brantley. He faces Bregman now. Alvarez, another lefty, is on deck. That will also be Crochet's batter. In the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes on Alex Bregman, who struck out in the first and walked in the third.
Another slider here, Waino, 2-0. Lefty on deck for Crochet. Righty up in Bregman right now, and he's gone 5 pitches, 5 sliders. You throw another slider right here. You don't want to challenge him and get beat with a heater, right?
I don't think you challenge him at all. Not at all. But I don't have stuff like this guy either. So, I mean, the other thing, though, if you don't challenge him, you're going to run yourself into a bases loaded situation where lots of bad things can happen. So He's pretty great. I mean, he's got great stuff. I trust my great stuff at the bottom of the zone, and we'll see what happens.
Two 2-0.
Inside.
Inside on the fastball. 3-0.
But see here, as a catcher, I'm thinking the game's on the line right here. If I throw him a good pitch to hit and he hits a home run, I go in that dugout. I got Tony La Russa, Ethan Katz, the video guy, Rob Warren, the clubhouse guy for the White Sox. They're going, why did you throw him that pitch with the lefty on deck, right? That's the old don't give me anything good to hit, but don't walk him trick.
Crochet has been more slider dependent as the season has gone on. He was heavier fastball at the beginning of the year. The slider became more of a weapon. Bregman sends one to the gap in left center field, and that's going to get down and roll all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score. It was Correa earlier. It is Bregman here, and the Astros have a 5-1 lead.
Timeout.
I said bottom of the zone, AJ.
I said don't pitch to him.
I know.
3-0. I don't care what the count is right there. 3-0. You know Bregman's going to be ultra aggressive, knowing who's on deck. 3-0. He challenges him, and Bregman just makes him pay.
Great swing. Didn't try to do too much. Just completely covered that.
What are you looking for? 3-0. A little ball up. You can drive in the gap. He gets it, and I know it's 3-0, and everyone thinks, oh, he's not swinging. Well, with the lefty on deck, he's swinging. Bregman knows how to play baseball.
Yep, great, smart player right there.
You guys are talking about being ahead of the sequencing, essentially, and that was what Bregman was able to do for another 2-out base hit with runners in scoring position. The Astros have been huge in that regard in this series. 7 for 16 in the set. They've driven in 4 of those 12 today in the last 2 frames. Pitch to Alvarez is in there for a strike.
If there's a team, though, that can come back, it's these White Sox.
We saw it happen in Game 3.
2 days ago.
It was the same score.
Wasn't it the same score?
It was 5-1.
And we were thinking they've got to get something going. So, yeah, I'm always rooting for a good game. But these Astros are making it really tough on the pitchers right now. They're putting those pitchers in the situation where they have to figure out if they want to challenge him or get the guy on deck over and over and over again. And that's a hard spot to be in.
And therefore a strike at 96, 0-2, and a chance to end the inning here against Alvarez. Good smother by Grandal. Bregman back to second base.
This team is one of the best in baseball. I've seen it just passing the baton. Reminds me a lot of the Dodgers and the Giants offenses that if they're not getting what they want, they trust the guy behind them, and they just do that over and over and over again. It's just exhausting, you know, on these pitchers.
Alvarez goes down swinging. Off-speed delivery again from Crochet. But a big inning again. A crooked number for Houston. They put 3 more on the board in the 4th. The Maldonado RBI, his first hit of the series. Bregman drove in 2. It's 5-1 to the bottom of the 4th. Play Ball is baseball and softball's initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play the game for all. You can find a league near you. Go to playball.org and follow Play Ball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So Lance McCullers Jr. back out there for the bottom of the 4th. 28 minutes between pitches for McCullers, but he comes back with a breaking ball strike on Grandal to even the count at 1-1. 4 strikeouts, one of which came against Grandal in the 1st on a curveball to end the inning. Breaking ball is fouled at the plate. Quickly 1-2. You see the numbers on Lance McCullers Jr. We saw him keeping his arm warm in the dugout. Back out after about a half hour or so. And I imagine the confidence is a lot higher now that his offense has put up 5 in the last 2 frames for him.
Yeah, the key, though, as a starting pitcher, this score right now is 1-0.
Okay.
And you're just holding it right there. You're just making pitch after pitch, keeping it simple.
Grandal past the shift and into right field for a base hit. His second hit of the series, the home run in Game 3. Now the single to start off the bottom of the 4th here in Game 4. First time that the Sox have put the leadoff man on base today.
Deep down, you know you have a lead as a starter, right? You know you have a lead, but the key to getting through these next few innings and carrying your team deep into the game, because that's their guy out there on the mound. That's the one they want out there, right? The key to that is to not get ahead of yourself, to stay in the moment. You're going to make pitch after pitch. You're not going to give any free passes. You're not letting them work their way back into this thing and chip away. You're just getting out and just counting outs right now, right? You're just getting one after another, quick as you can.
There's Jimenez in there for a strike. AJ, you pointed out in the break, this was the score in Game 3 when the White Sox finally were able to get going offensively. But this is McCullers, not Garcia. It's a little bit of a difference just because he's seen so many more big game moments.
Well, McCullers has pitched in Game 7s. He's closed Game 7s. He's started Game 7s. He's kind of done a little bit more. He looks a little bit more in control of his emotions than Garcia did the other night. Even Dusty said it today when we talked to him. Garcia, even though he was into the 3rd inning before they started getting to him, he was still all over the place, right? So McCullers is very cool, calm, collected. Now, I wish if you're an Astros fan, he would have got Grandal out after scoring the runs and making it 5-1, then you calm him down. You always want to get that first guy out, because the first guy gets it. Then the energy in the dugout of the White Sox goes, okay, here we go. We can do it again. So he needs to shut this inning down quickly.
Pitch to Jimenez is down and away.
If I'm the Astros, I'm thinking about big Lance Lynn here. Just letting him throw 3 or 4 innings. Coming out of the pen, keep it right there. He's been your best pitcher all year long. You know, he's your guy. I'd be thinking about getting big Lance up if I was the White Sox.
He said he was available if need be behind Carlos Rodon. Jimenez out in front. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I love that idea, Wayno. The only problem with that idea is Kopech's down tomorrow after his outing. Crochet doesn't do well back-to-back, so you're already down 2 weapons. Giolito, I believe, is who we think is going to start if it gets to a Game 5. You need Lance Lynn tomorrow because you've lost your length guy, Crochet. You've lost one of your lefties in.
Or you lost your lefty in Crochet
Kopech.
and a lengthy guy in Kopech. Jimenez on the ground, hard hit. Altuve, Correa, Gurriel, they do it again. A second double play behind McCullers in back-to-back innings, and there are 2 away. The bases are clear.
Now, I understand what you're saying, but in my mind, you're down 5-1. You've got to keep it right there, or you don't play tomorrow.
Well, you use your best weapons. They have Tepera up, use Kimbrel, use Hendricks, use Bummer, use everybody, and you hope that maybe you can tie it up and you use Lance Lynn as your long guy if it gets later on. But they're behind the 8 ball now, because as soon as they fell behind, it changed whatever Tony La Russa's plan was. He was hoping Rodon would go give him 3-4 innings. He could use Kopech possibly as like get a couple outs and use those guys in a certain order. But once it's off, the train is off the tracks now. Now it's like, all right, how do we get outs and try to score some runs? But Lance McCullers, another great pitch for a double play.
Here's the man responsible for the only White Sox run, a solo home run in the 2nd for Gavin Sheets, who takes a strike.
Rodon, you're 1 pitch away. You know, that's what he's going to come away with today.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to his house, and he's going to go, man, I was 1 pitch away.
He had 0-2 on Correa on that double. That's what the situation was back in the 3rd. Sheets had given the White Sox the lead with a home run in the 2nd. Rodon had come back out for the 3rd, got the 1st out, hit Altuve. Brantley was the 2nd out, and then the next 3 batters with 2 outs all reached. 2 walks to Bregman and Alvarez, and then the Correa double on an 0-2 pitch, which gave the Astros at the time the 2-1 lead. They added 3 more in the 4th, and now McCullers trying to get the final out of this 4th frame with a 4-run lead intact. It is Ryan Tepera loosening up, as you mentioned, in the White Sox bullpen. I'm sure we won't have anything to talk about when Tepera comes into the game. Here's a 2-1. 3-1 on Gavin Sheets. There's Tepera, who made quite the storm yesterday with some comments after Game 3 on Sunday night. Dusty Baker responded. Hitters count for Sheets. A 3-1 is lifted deep to right field towards the corner, and that ball is down. Gavin Sheets with a double.
That just goes back to that double play again, too.
Huge now, doesn't it? It looms larger than it did even a pitch ago.
Very dangerous hitter, and Eloy coming up, and he gets a double play right there. He gets the double play from Abreu earlier. Man, he's made some huge pitches in big moments right there. If he doesn't get the double play, now we're talking about some serious momentum swing going back towards the Whites.
Well, he's now throwing him 2 sliders, and Sheets has hit a double and a home run off of him. I think we need to maybe try the UFO to get Sheets to chase the aliens instead of the slider. But again, it's not the end of the world, right? It's still 5-1, like you said, the double play. He gives up a double. Well, he punched Leury Garcia out very easily his first at bat. He's going to go breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. Hopefully Garcia for McCullers chases one. He gets out of the inning. He says, okay, so what? Sheets hit a double. Great. Move on to the next inning. They're chasing outs.
Here is Garcia. Struck out on that changeup in the second. And there with a breaking ball strike. You mentioned it, AJ. Obviously, Garcia faced Yimi Garcia, a fastball thrower, when Yimi came in to face Leury. Leury does not hit breaking balls very well at all, and Yimi threw him a fastball up in the zone, and that's the one he cranked out 436 feet to straightaway center for the home run. Off speed again, and it's fouled away.
I wouldn't even mess around with a chase heater right here. I just go slider, back foot, maybe another changeup away. Whatever it is, I'm not giving him an opportunity to see a fastball this entire at bat. I don't care if he can take 4 more and walk, and great.
Especially since he's proven that he will swing out of the zone on. And if hitter proves that to you, you just keep making him prove it, until he stops swinging.
Two down in the fourth, and an 0-2 to Garcia. 1-2.
There's one. Think he can do that 3 more times?
I always wondered, because hitters a lot of times go, all right, he just bounced the slider. See coming back heater here, and then they're ready to rock. They'll swing at the same pitch that they just took a lot of times.
100%.
Yeah.
Because they think, I took one, I showed him I'll take it. Oh, he won't throw it again.
Got him off of that. Oh, whoops.
One-two pitch. 2-2. Same deal.
He wanted to. He wanted to.
Again, if he can lay off 2 more of those, tip your cat and go get Cesar Hernandez. Or throw him. You know what? The other thing is, you throw him a changeup here. It looks like a fastball coming out of the hand. Get him out front. Again, he laid off 2. He's thinking, oh, he's going to throw me a fastball. He's going to challenge me now. Throw him that UFO changeup, see if you can get him to chase that.
That's the pitch he struck out in the second. Garcia 0 for 10 with 4 strikeouts lifetime against Lance McCullers Jr., including what we saw in Game 1. Two-two.
Inside.
Ooh, close pitch. That's a tough take and a good one for Garcia. McCullers wanted that one, understandably so. It's 3-2.
He tried it. He tried the 2-seamer coming back, and seen that called a few times. Didn't get the call right here. Now we're 3-2, and everything is available to McCullers.
3-2, and Garcia fights one off. White Sox have 5 hits. 3 of them have come on the curveball.
Is that the Kane guy?
Kane guy's somewhere here.
There's Kane guys.
Rob Holt, the 71-year-old season ticket holder. And it's a walk to Garcia. So down 0-2 in the count. Garcia is able to work back for a walk on the next 4 pitches.
The Kane guys. He's got the Kane working, man. He's got the the sword fighting going on.
That's Rob Holt, a retired financial advisor, a lifelong White Sox fan, grew up in the north suburbs, lives in Northbrook here in suburban Chicago. His 3 kids are all Sox fans. And obviously his phone blew up as well the other night after some of those strikeouts. You'll have to find stories about fans in Houston and Chicago and Los Angeles and San Francisco, all in Atlanta and Milwaukee and Boston and Tampa, just to see all these lifelong fans, or however long they have been fans, show out for these playoff games. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 4th. The 9-hitter is Cesar Hernandez, who walked against McCullers in the 2nd to turn it over to Tim Anderson.
Huge at bat right here. You've got to, if you're the White Sox, you've got to get Tim Anderson up with guys on base as the tying run. McCullers gets Hernandez out. It's a huge sigh of relief for him, for his team, and then Anderson comes up to lead off an inning instead of with an opportunity to possibly tie this game with 1 swing.
Now McCullers getting behind in the count.
This guy's got sneaky power too. Good idea of the strike zone and sneaky power.
So this is now 18 batters. 2 times through the order that McCullers has seen the White Sox. He has thrown a first pitch ball twice through 18 batters. That's it.
Well, he wanted that pitch right there. He wanted at least a swing on it. It was a perfectly placed slider.
Comes back over the plate with it.
And I'm shocked. In the Garcia at bat before, he never threw him a changeup. He tried the heater in. He struck him out his first at bat with a changeup. He didn't throw him any changeups at bat.
You mean the UFO?
The UFO, sorry. You got to start naming your pitches.
I have a name for one of my pitches.
Is it like the Eliminator or the Terminator, like Major League style?
It's called the Devastator.
Oh, I love that.
And it is my changeup, and it's.
And you throw it never?
I throw it some now. It's devastating now when I throw it.
Is it devastating because you
never look for it?
Yeah, it's devastating because we don't see it enough. That's what it is, Wayno.
Well, it just wouldn't be fair if I threw it more.
That's right. That's right.
That's why it's the Devastator.
The Major League hitters don't want to see you pitch till 45. Suddenly you bust out the changeup.
I'm gonna get so many texts from teammates now.
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what the group chat's going to look like. Grandal reached on a single, then the double play from Jimenez, the double by Sheets, the walk to Garcia, and now a 1-2 to Hernandez. In there and called strike 3 at 95 miles an hour from McCullers. Traffic in that inning for the White Sox, but McCullers gets out of it on the fastball with strikeout number 5 in Game 4. We head to the 5th, a 5-1 Houston lead. They're 1 win away from the LCS. Is on for the 3rd time in this series. He pitched 2 excellent innings in Game 3, coming in the 5th and pitching the 6th as well. He'll face Carlos Correa to lead things off here in the 5th. Same deal in Game 3. Correa lined out against him. Gurriel struck out. Tucker grounded out. The White Sox had 16 strikeouts by their pitching staff in Game 3. That was a White Sox playoff record. It was also a season high number of strikeouts for the Houston Astros in 2021. Tepera asked after the game about what the difference was in Games 1 and 2 compared to Game 3. Obviously mentioned the crowd and the atmosphere. As Correa fouls one away, but Tom Verducci, he also brought up the notion of sketchy stuff, and that obviously drew the ire of Dusty Baker and the Astros dugout. Can you give us a little more on that?
Yeah, obviously a reference to the 2017 sign stealing scandal involving the Houston Astros. As you mentioned, he pointed out, Tepera did, a lot more swings and misses in that game than they had in their first 2 games at Minute Maid Park. Now, manager Dusty Baker called those heavy accusations, but he didn't seem to be too bothered by that. In fact, he quoted Eric Clapton saying, "Before you accuse me, better take a look at yourself." And also a better response maybe from Martin Maldonado, the catcher, who tweeted, "Always good to get extra motivation." I don't think the Astros were too bothered by this. They've been living with these kind of accusations for a couple of years, Adam.
1-2 on Carlos Correa from Tepera. Just off the plate. Now, let's spell this out very quickly because it's right to spell it out. The home road splits for the Astros this year have been almost dead even. And the Astros were the #1 road hitting team in the major leagues this year. So obviously the data from this year doesn't necessarily back that up if you're looking at what they do at home and what they do on the road in terms of what has been discussed over the last several seasons around the Astros.
Also, like Dusty Baker said, the White Sox home road splits are way more towards them at home than they are on the road. So that's why Dusty Baker used that Eric Clapton song, Take a Look at Yourself, because if you look at the numbers, the home road splits for the White Sox are much different than the Astros.
Yeah, so that's the statistical defense of Houston for the moment. 3-2 on Correa. Payoff pitch. Broken bat. Looper towards second. Hernandez will retire Correa for the first out. Now, let's also point this out, and this is the general consensus, I would imagine, among baseball fans across the country that are not Astros fans. What happened in 17 happened. It was discovered in 2019, and the penance that you now have to pay as a member of the Houston Astros is you're going to have to listen to this, not just today, not just this week, not just this postseason, but maybe for the rest of your career. And that is the penance that you will now have to pay. Whether it's fair or not, or whether that's enough for fans or not, that is going to be what these guys deal with for the rest of their lives and the rest of their careers. So both sides, we've tried to give you at least the defense and the argument from both sides of this. Now Tepera has to deal with the Astros lineup, and I would imagine there might be a little more motivation in the Astros dugout with Tepera on the bump.
Well, the Astros did what they did. We all have heard the story, and they've paid for it now. And they're all, like you said, they're always going to pay for it. My question is, why would Tepera say anything? Why would he go out of his way after he pitches 2 great innings in that game to come out and say it takes the attention off of how well he pitched? Instead, he's saying, oh, it's because the Astros weren't stealing signs or whatever he wanted to say about sketchy stuff, right? But why? What do you gain by saying what you said?
There's a 1-1 to Gurriel just off the plate, 2-1. You don't want to diminish what your bullpen just did.
Yeah.
Tepera was part of an incredible bullpen run. We mentioned it. 16 in a row sent down to close the game by the White Sox bullpen, including 6 up, 6 down against Tepera.
Well, you would say something like that, wouldn't you?
I'm just worried, I'm thinking like, hey, what's the best food in this ballpark? I mean, I want to talk about anything else besides that.
Again, understandable.
Especially still playing.
I very much understand. I'm not going to put you in a bad spot. And again, we try to give both sides of this debate just to be fair because, again, it's going to be a topic of conversation around this team for a long time.
As long as they keep making these postseason runs,
it's going to happen.
It's going to keep coming up. Yeah. Dusty knows it. All these players know. They're used to it now, though.
The one thing I will say is they continue to be effective hitters no matter what situation they're thrown in.
Popped up, right side. Hernandez over. And he's got both outs made in this inning. 2 up, 2 down against Tepera here in the top of the 5th inning.
And it is not, I mean, you got Major League Baseball has people walking around the clubhouses right now. They're looking for all that stuff now. You couldn't do anything like that anymore, and they're looking at gloves now and hats, and they're walking around looking in video rooms. It's not as easy to do something like that as it was for sure. Now who knows what's going on, but I do know that I respect guys on both sides of this field right now. So. I'm trying not to get my hitters hitting the ribs next year, saying something silly on TV.
No. Not trying to put anybody in a bad spot. That's just the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, listen, Ryan Tepera, he did a whole interview, and they're using one clip of what he said. He wasn't really as bad as we've kind of made it out to be, and everyone's made it out to be. It was a long statement that he made, and I get it. It just, for me, the question is why? Just why even bring it up? Instead of I'm Ryan Tepera, I'm like, I just pitched 2 solid innings. Our bullpen just gave us 5 solid innings. Like, why bring it up?
Now facing Kyle Tucker. Launches it, but well foul out in front of that one. Tucker with a line out to left in the 2nd, and he played a major role in that 3-run 4th. The single and then 2 stolen bases before coming home on the Maldonado RBI. Got a little fry for you. The burger here at Comiskey also very. I call it Comiskey still to this day.
I heard the Polish.
Little mustard, little onion.
Yeah, mustard and onion Polish dog is the way to go in the ballpark here.
0-1 to Tucker. Fouled away.
And the Cuban
Sandwich is excellent as well. Yes.
Listen, as a pull-off, never go wrong with a Polish.
Crowds on their feet. I feel like the people want to watch me eat something on TV, though. Don't they? Don't they want to see that?
As a guy who's been eating on television at any opportunity for the last decade of my life, the answer is yes, 100%. White Sox looking for their first 1-2-3 inning from their staff today. 0-2 on Tucker from Tepera. Looped out to left. Jimenez playing deep, charging in, makes the catch. 1-2-3 go the Astros in the 5th. We're halfway through game 4. Top of the White Sox order coming up, down 4 in game 4. Lance McCullers Jr., 73 pitches today, the fewest pitches he's thrown in an outing this season. The second shortest outing of the year for McCullers. He goes 4 innings in game 4. Gives up 5 hits, just the 1 run, but you saw the walk start to creep up. Had 1 in 3 of the 4 innings he had. Did finish with a strikeout of Hernandez, but Dusty Baker is going to pull McCullers as the White Sox will come up for the 3rd time through the order, and they'll face Yimi Garcia, who took the loss on Sunday in game 3 after giving up the home run to Leury Garcia when he came in mid at bat. Goes after Tim Anderson, and off speed Anderson goes aggressive, maybe looking for fastball. It's 0-1.
I am shocked, unless there's something we don't know about Lance McCullers Jr., that he is not out there, especially the top of the order. I know it's the 3rd time through, and pitchers with the 3rd time through, managers are a little more careful, but he was in control of this game.
Does that last inning with a couple of hits, you know, the double from Sheets, does that maybe play into it at all?
I don't think so. I mean, he was only very low pitch count, 3rd time through. If I'm Dusty Baker, I have Garcia up in the bullpen, and then I'm going maybe hitter by hitter with Lance.
Okay.
But I can't see Lance McCullers asking out. Maybe obviously there could be something we don't know, but I'm surprised. It's only the 5th inning.
The hit to Sheets is a reason to keep him in the game for me, because he's got 2 of the 5 hits off of him.
Gotcha.
And he's not coming back up again for 7 more batters. So I don't really understand either. And we've seen a couple times this postseason and last where it burned the manager when they took their starter out too early.
Certainly last year in the World Series sticks out. McCullers after he came out. 2-2 after Garcia throws the fastball past Anderson.
And look, Dusty knows his team way better than we do. He knows his guys. He knows what they can do and can't do. But for me, I want my best arm out there, especially at the top of the order.
Two-two delivery to Anderson. Down and away. You said it, AJ, earlier. If the White Sox are going to get back in this game, Tim Anderson's going to need to be on base. There's Phil Maton loosening up behind Yimi Garcia in the Astros pen. Payoff pitch. Fouled away.
Good foul off right there. Good spoil. Good pitch by Yimi right on the corner. And now Timmy gets another pitch right here.
With this only being the 5th inning, though, more than likely you're going to have to clear the top of the order twice if you're the Astros bullpen. So if any out McCullers was able to steal from this point on with a 4-run lead is just a bonus for those guys down there. So again, I'm a little surprised with no hint of any injury or anything from McCullers. He didn't look tired to me. He made good pitches to Hernandez to punch him out to end the 4th inning. So velocity was there. The break was there on the pitches.
Who knows? He might have cramped up when he celebrating. Who knows?
3-2. Up the line at third and foul.
I feel like this is a huge hitter right here for Garcia. He's got to get Anderson out. He gets Anderson out. The crowd's kind of trying to get back into it. They're all on their feet. They're trying to get excited. They want to give the White Sox some energy. Get the first guy out here. You get Anderson out. They'll calm down. They'll sit down. The White Sox then will have to do something to get them back up, right? Anderson gets on base. The place will go crazy. They'll start waving their towels. Brings the energy back to the White Sox dugout.
Three-two. Anderson fouling away a few in a row. 4 straight. He's fouled away after the count ran full.
You see the at-bat last night? 18 pitches, 17 pitches. Oh.
I feel like in the pitcher one that time, I feel like sometimes when you're watching, not when I get into those moments, I don't feel like this, but I feel like when I'm watching those moments, sometimes the longer the at-bat goes, Chris Taylor took an at-bat off our guy Genesis Cabrera earlier this year like that. The longer the at-bat goes, the more that hitter starts feeling comfortable and seeing the pitches better.
And Anderson fouls another way, so
a little better swing there.
Yep, double-digit pitch at bat. Well, it was Eduardo Rodriguez against Austin Meadows last night, 17-pitch AB, and your team was involved in a couple of them. Anthony Rizzo had a long at bat that ended in a home run, and then the Chris Taylor bases-clearing double a few months back.
Yep.
On a long at bat. I'm just saying, but you've seen it. You understand. You have a good feel for what those at bats are like, whether you're in it or you're watching it.
When I'm in it, I feel pretty confident. When I'm watching it, I still feel confident, but not as.
Garcia to Anderson again, and it's in play off of the glove of Anderson. Altuve has to hurry. The lunge by Gurriel, and they get Anderson on a lengthy double-digit pitch at bat.
So many things on this play that we could talk about. First of all, I thought Garcia, great at bat by Anderson. I thought Garcia was going to field this. Then when he misses it, I thought it was going to hit the bag. Then I thought Correa was going to get it. The last person I thought was going to get it was Altuve, and then the quick release. Steps right in front of Correa, quick release, perfect throw. So much for all those throwing problems Altuve had a couple years ago. That was a great play.
Just got rid of that so quick with a super fast runner running up the baseline. Good job, Jose Altuve.
One away for Yohan Moncada.
Oh.
Catch and throw, watch, no step either. He just, bam. Throws against his front side, gets good footwork right there. He's already in perfect pivot to throw that ball to first base. That's cool stuff.
He's showing off the grip or strange grip he had on it. 1-1 on Moncada. 11 pitch at bat to finally get Tim Anderson. Another battle in this game. In there for a strike, bottom of the zone. Call against Moncada, and it's 1-2.
Sox are showing a lot of fight. Last inning with the Ducks on the pond, now taking tough at bats. They know what's happening right now. They're fighting for their lives.
They were not able to do much against the bullpen of Houston in the first 2 games of the series, but tagged Garcia in game 3, got after Brooks Raley late in the game for some insurance as well. Hey, it's Jose Abreu. He enjoys playing to the camera as he has all series long.
Looks pretty calm and confident to me.
Reigning MVP in the American League.
He's not worried about anything, is he? Got him.
2-2. Jam shot to second. Altuve again. 2 up and 2 down. Let's go down to the field and Tom Verducci for more on Altuve.
Yeah, guys, we've seen a lot of premier defense of Jose Altuve in this series, and it goes back to spring training. Jose, Joe Espada, the bench coach who takes care of the infielders, had Altuve play deeper this year. He's gone about 3 or 4 feet deeper, especially in these situations. Right-handed batter, no shift really involved. And part of that is the throwing issues that Altuve has had that you mentioned. Espada explained to me he's much better throwing from a longer distance. The shorter throws, when he has time to think, are the ones that give him problems. I asked Jose about the positioning. He said, I love it. It's a chance to show off my range, and he has done that in this series.
There's Joe Espada, the bench coach.
That darn brain gets in the way all the time.
Good coaching right there, too. Try to empower your player with his strengths.
That darn brain, it gets in the way. Hitting, overthink your swing, pitching, overthink your high school curveball you chuck up there,
Baseball's about one of the only places my brain doesn't get in the way. Seems to get in the way of everything else.
1-1.
Ball out.
Outside to Luis Robert.
2-1.
Robert came off the injured list in August after the hip injury in early May. Since he's returned, only Kyle Tucker has had a better OPS in the American League. Robert very impactful in his return, but went around there according to Chad Fairchild. 2-2 on Luis Robert.
Remember what I said, if they get Tim Anderson out, what a difference in the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was up going, look around now, everybody's in there on their hands, sitting on their hands, just don't know what to do. That guy's frustrated.
Playing in a visiting park, that's a big part of winning there, is controlling that crowd. Keep them keep in their seats.
Big strikeout from Garcia in a 1-2-3 fifth inning out of the bullpen. Astros maintain the lead as we head to the 6th in Game 4. Pitch 1-2-3 inning for Tepera in the 5th. Cutting through Correa, Gurriel, and Tucker. Now we'll face McCormick, then Maldonado in the 9th spot, and then Altuve. Jazz McCormick came in for an injured Jake Myers in the 2nd inning defensively. Grounded out his first at bat in the 4th, and swings away at the first offering here in the 6th. There is a left-hander loosening up for the White Sox. It's the only other lefty in their bullpen. It's Aaron Bummer. Of course, after McCormick, Maldonado, Altuve comes the pocket of 2 left-handers and 3 batters for Houston. A 1 to McCormick.
It's eerily silent.
This is, last night, Sunday night, and I've done college football and NFL and Final Four games and all that stuff, and Sunday night was legitimately one of the best atmospheres I've ever been in for any sporting event for the last decade. It was incredible, and I was very impressed for a 1 o'clock start how loud this place was and essentially how filled up it is. 40,170 the announced attendance for this start. I guess I shouldn't be really surprised knowing this fan base. They're very passionate about it. But 2 pitches ago was the most silent I've heard 40,000 people. It was eerie in here for a second.
It only takes a couple of batters to get on base, though, to change that really quick.
Well, that's what you were talking about in the last inning. That's why getting guys just back on track a little bit offensively is going to be essential for Chicago if they want to get back in it. And Tepera's job is to keep this game where it's at 5-1. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chaz McCormick.
They got the middle of the lineup coming up next inning. 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 coming up. Anything can happen in these games. We've seen it. We saw it 2 days ago. Down the same amount.
Right.
Anything can happen unless you give up. Unless you start thinking it's over, then it actually is. These fans are looking for a reason to get up on their feet, though. We saw that.
Two from Tepera. Popped up. A little short of our booth. Well, T-Mobile covers the most interstate highway miles with 5G. Home or away, stay connected to your team with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G coverage. Millennium Park, downtown Chicago. Overcast day, but the rain has stayed away.
The bean.
There's the bean right there. I'm sure you'll find Adam Wainwright taking selfies next to it at some point this afternoon.
Is that the most Instagrammed selfie spot in Chicago? Probably.
Unless you can find some angel wings spray painted on a wall somewhere.
The big fountain, right?
2-2. Towards left center field. Robert is unable to get there. And McCormick off the bench with his first hit of Game 4.
What is the bean? Explain the bean to me. What? It's art, obviously.
It's a bean.
It's a bean.
It's a statue of a bean.
Giant kidney bean or something.
Yeah, black-eyed pea if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. It's a bean.
No, please. I want to hear Adam Wainwright Chicago history though, if you got it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
It's just a bean.
Statue of a bean.
Big silver bean.
That's Instagrammed a lot, and photos a lot, and it's in Millennium Park, which is obviously a huge place in Chicago, but
some great museums in this park.
Oh, the city for museums and the shed and all the things they have here, right? And they're all close too, walking distance from downtown.
We went to that art institute last time we were here. Van Gogh, Monet, Manet. That day in the park, you know, that one day in the park scene, man, that's really awesome.
Maldonado showing bunt again, and the corners crash for the White Sox. 1-0. This is known as Cloud Gate. Anish Kapoor is an Indian-born British artist who was the creator of it back in 2006. It debuted.
So it's not a bean, it's a cloud.
Well, it's called the bean, colloquially, yes. But it's Cloud Gate is the name of the actual sculpture. It was chosen about 16 years ago.
Can you walk underneath that bean?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
You can take pictures underneath it. You can kind of walk all the way around.
Feed a lot of people with that bean.
Oh, yeah. The dad joke just came out so specially. I loved it. And also, I also enjoyed the art history that you clearly studied a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you do the interactive, Van Gogh?
I did. Well, I had art history in high school, and then I studied AP art history the next year, and that was a disaster because that was much harder. But art history was cool. But I love things like that, man. And in Chicago, their art institute is as good a place as I've been. It's really cool.
One of several landmarks that we get to enjoy in this great city. There's a 1-0. Maldonado again showing butt, and that was up and in.
They got a leadoff hit off Tepera. We discussed all the things that were said earlier last inning. There is nothing more the Astros want than to hang a run on him right here. You see a leadoff single, you see Maldonado bunting. They want to put a run on Tepera on the road just to tell him, hey, it doesn't matter. And I know it's the playoffs and that stuff shouldn't make a difference, but when you're a competitor, it makes a difference.
Up the first base line, good bunt put down by Maldonado. Abreu will have to toss to Hernandez covering. The sacrifice moves McCormick into scoring position with 1 out, and the top of the order for Houston coming up.
That have got the run home earlier right there, wasn't it?
That was a good bunt. Really good bunt.
It's funny. I'm getting tons of texts about the bean now. This is great. The bean is 33 feet high and
what do you got?
42 feet wide.
Keep it going. Anytime you got something, feel free.
Thank you, Joe. 42 feet wide and 66 feet long. And it weighs 110 pounds. That's roughly the size of 15 adult elephants, if you were wondering.
Just
110 pounds?
Tons.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering.
110
made of
pounds.
titanium.
110 pounds. Somebody's picking it up and carrying it home.
I was going to say, that thing wouldn't sit there for as long as it has.
Would not have it there, would it? Yep. 110 tons. Sorry, guys.
There you go. Altuve going after the first one. Tepera goes off speed and gets the strike.
Sometimes my southern accent betrays me.
We appreciate a good Georgia
My
boy.
wife texted me
I
earlier.
appreciate the Southern boys that I'm thankful to sit next to for this playoff series.
My wife texted me earlier and said, "What did you call Justin Turner?" I said, "Rascal." Jeez.
One strike offering to Altuve is down and away.
So we've already discussed this. You brought up Lance Lynn. Tepera, he's going to throw 2 innings again, possibly. At least 1 2/3 if he gets Altuve, but he's already at 25 pitches. Will he be available if they come back for this game? I mean, that puts Crochet, Kopech, and now Tepera.
More than likely.
I mean, he could probably give you a hitter or 2 tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, he'll say he can give you more, but
for anything lengthy, no. You would imagine for a game 5.
In a winner-take-all game, all those guys are going to say they're good.
Oh, 100%. They should.
They are.
Just more food for thought if they get to game 5. Tony La Russa's wheels, I'm sure, are already spinning, thinking about how he's going to get through this game, and then if it gets to a next game, how we're going to get through the next game.
Yep. And an opportunity right here for Houston. We got another runner in scoring position. They've been so good in that situation all series.
Yep.
With one of the best hitters in baseball up to bat, and they're just right now, they're just trying to say, let's add on runs. Let's just get some more so that we can put this thing away. That's what they're thinking about. They do not want to go back to Houston and play game 5.
You guys both talked about it from the top. You throw Lance McCullers because you want to put this game away. You want to tack on runs because you want to put this out of reach. You saw what happened on Sunday night in a 4-run game. The White Sox, within 2 innings, were able to put together some offense. And it never feels like a lead is safe in a playoff game, I would think. Altuve pops it up. Grandal with the mask off. Right near the netting and unable to make the play. I think it was on the backside of the netting.
You got to try to push the net back right there.
Might have been on the backside of that guy's shirt. Hit him flush.
I mean, it's not Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones fighting for a pop-up in it.
I texted him yesterday. I said, you never did like pop-ups, Chipper. It seems like to me on these pop-ups that go just into foul ground, you don't want to be the first guy. You want to be the second guy that catches off the deflection, because hardly anyone catches those flush.
No. It's not as easy as you think it is to catch those.
I mean, if Chipper can't do it, who can?
2-2 from Tepera to Altuve. A 5-1 game in the 6th. Off the end of the bat, popped up again.
Well, I know one guy that couldn't catch him.
Bam.
Hey, I know not only Chipper, but there was a pop-up if I was playing. Told my first baseman, third baseman, you get them all.
Yeah.
Unless it's directly behind home plate, I want you guys to get them all. I'll get out of the way.
Those balls are spinning funky.
And I'm clank, 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 clank.
Yep.
Nice moment there. Give it to the young fan. Oh, that's awesome.
He'll never forget that.
That is awesome. Oh, and he's going to share it too.
Give it to his
Even
sister.
better.
Give it to your little
Even
sister.
better.
She will forget that, but that's okay. Still nice.
Awesome moment.
A good big brother.
2-2 pitch. Altuve reaches out, pops up another one, and Anderson is there. 2 away.
Great pitching.
For Tepera, it's the first time he has thrown multiple innings in back-to-back appearances this year. Granted, with that off day in between, but first time all year he had to go with some length in back-to-back outings. He does his job, although a man is aboard in scoring position in McCormick. He's gotten the next 2 men in Maldonado and Altuve. With the lefty Brantley coming up, it'll be Aaron Bummer to come in for the White Sox in the 6th. Welcome back to the 2021 American League Division Series, presented by Good Sam. In the 6th inning, a 5-1 game, and Adam Wainwright, AJ Pierzynski, ask and they shall receive. So I'm very happy that they get to enjoy, it's
a 47-foot long
I'll just let you guys enjoy it as you guys get going here.
Here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah, Wainwright. That's what we wanted to see. America wanted it, and they got it. Lefty on lefty as Aaron Bummer faces Michael Brantley. How does that treating you right now?
That's good.
Attaboy.
Like Tim McGraw, I got a barbecue stain, a microphone.
3rd appearance of the series for Bummer, who did take the loss in game 2. Pitched a 1/3 of an inning in that contest. Came in a tough spot in the 7th against the top of the order. Ended up giving up an RBI to Yordan Alvarez, and a couple of inherited runners scored. Brantley with a base hit against the left-hander. Around third, McCormick. He will score to add some insurance for the Astros here in the 6th. It's 6-1.
2-out RBI with runner in scoring position.
Again.
Another one. They have been crazy good in this series. Crazy good today in this game. 364. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Michael Brantley gets his sinker. Just bangs it up the middle. Luckily, Lance Barrett, the second base umpire, got out of the way. A little skipping the rope. And now it's 6-1. That move did not pay off for Tony La Russa.
And that's a huge run, because you're looking at the game up 5 and up 4. To me, in my mind, that's more than the bases loaded. That's
right.
more than one swing can tie it, you know, and that's a hard thing.
And we think about one-score games in football, right? 8 points or less or within a score. The 4-run mark is that kind of line of demarcation where you can legitimately change the game with one swing.
Line of demarcation. That's good stuff right there.
Hey, man, between AJ used circuitous the other day, so I had to at least try to keep up.
Did I?
These are things
You already
I'm learning.
forgot. Bregman pops it up. Right side and out of play. Bregman walked and scored in the 3rd and then delivered a 2-out, 2-run double in the 4th. That was part of that 3-run frame that added on.
And lost in all this, Michael Brantley, 15-game postseason hitting streak continues. So
extends it with that RBI single here in the 6th. Longest now in franchise history.
Off a tough lefty, too. Bummer is not a fun at bat for lefty. He throws those sinkers into you that we talked about earlier, Wayne, that are not fun to try to get.
Great ground ball pitcher, gets a bouncing ball up the line. Foul.
And every time the Astros add on, just more air goes out of this stadium.
Yeah.
More and more air. They're trying. They're trying to stay into it.
Doesn't look like a soul is left to me.
No, it's still just about full.
Crazy things happen in this game. You never know when it's going to.
Well, you guys talk about it all the time. The 27th out's the hardest one to get, right? I mean, it's a game of 27 outs that you have to achieve every single time you go out there. And it's difficult in general. It gets more difficult in the playoffs, and it adds more pressure as you get later into a game.
Especially to end a series. On the road, to get that last out is so difficult. To get to that last out is difficult. And then ending it, because they just lock in. Every out they get closer, they lock in more and more.
Good pitch by Bummer to get the strikeout of Bregman and end the inning. One across, though, for Houston. They add on, and they've got a 5-run advantage to the bottom of the 6th.
The mustard.
Game 4 here in Chicago, a 6-1 Astros lead. Here's the summary for what's happened. Kyle Tucker, first player in ALDS history with 7+ RBIs and 2+ stolen bases. He had both of them during the same at bat when he scored one of the 3 4th-inning runs for Houston, which has gotten it done with 2 outs. Carlos Rodon, first career playoff start, gave him as much as he could. Went 2 2/3 over the course of 56 pitches. It's been Kopech, Crochet, Tepera, and Bummer since. It was McCullers and Garcia for Houston. McCullers went 4 innings. Garcia gave them the 5th, and now Phil Maton is on to try to bridge them to the 7th, as he'll face the middle of this White Sox order. Abreu, Grandal, and Jimenez. And Waino, this feels like the biggest part of the game for the White Sox right now.
This is a huge spot for the White Sox. You know who's down there in that bullpen who can close this game out. If you don't get something going right here, it's going to be very, very, very tough, isn't it, AJ?
Absolutely. This is heart of the order. And I think Dusty brought in Maton. He's been one of their most reliable relievers since they've acquired him. So Dusty knows that all. Dusty's been around long enough. He knows when spots are big. So he brings in one of his true weapons to get him through the 7th and worry about the 8th and 9th later.
Abreu essentially had the game-winning RBI in Game 3. Lashes that one foul, and it's 1-2. And what was a back-and-forth Game 3 on Sunday night. The Astros had come back to tie it at 6 in the top of the 4th inning. Abreu's RBI, part of a 3-run 4th. for Chicago on Sunday was the go-ahead RBI, and the White Sox would not relinquish the lead. A 1-2. On the ground to third for Bregman. One away.
And that's Maton's pitch. That breaking ball, curve ball going down. He wants to induce ground balls with it, and he gets Jose Abreu to beat it into the ground to third base for an easy out.
You see where it is right away, though. You see Jose just kind of buckle just a hair right away and kind of get him out of his swing, and he just kind of, oh shoot, you know, he knew he was beat, but he had to swing at it.
Here's Grandal. Shift is on against him. Big cut. He was looking for a home run on the first pitch.
If you're pitching, Wayno, you don't care. If this guy hits a solo home run, so what, right? You're still up 4 runs. Just don't walk guys. Don't give them easy bases. Make them hit their way back into this game.
Crooked numbers.
Backdoor breaking ball.
Solo shots almost never beat you, but especially when you're up 6-1. You know, that's why you're not giving out any free passes. You're not letting them get into the situation where they can have one swing of the bat that gets them back into the game. Right now, you've got them down. You got to keep them there. You got to make them, like you said, hit their way on.
The other way from Grandal. Well struck to left, but playable. Brantley's out there for out number 2.
You see the crowd, too?
Yep. They're looking. You said it earlier. They're looking for something to latch onto and get excited about again.
They are ready to go, man. They're just begging. Give us something. Give us something to cheer for.
But we can't understate, though, what a workmanlike performance so far by the Astros. Right? They fell behind 1-0. Place going crazy. They come back, score 2. Then they score 3. And they keep adding on. They add on the 6th run. This is a machine right now for the Houston Astros.
There's Jimenez. They've had a lot of success, obviously, in the last few years, but this season was much more. I think you used a great word for it, workmanlike. And that's how a lot of the newspapers in Houston describe this season compared to the other seasons. So it's not a 100-win team. They won 95 games, granted in a division that had a lot of competition, in particular down the stretch, with how Seattle played. Obviously, Oakland hung around for most of the year. You have Ohtani in that division as well. But that was the word that a lot of people used to describe this team, more workmanlike.
95 games is nothing to
stop. No, I'm not. And again, I'm not diminishing that, obviously. Just in relativity to what's taken place in years past. I just thought it was a good word. I was just trying to compliment your word choice again.
No,
You've been on it. Your word choice has been great this week.
Listen, Adam, I agree with you that it's a different team, but once they got in and they won the division, right? Nobody wants to play the Houston Astros in the postseason. I mean, and today is an example why. All the stuff that was going on, losing Game 3, huge crowd, rain out. Who's pitching Game 4? McCullers goes out there. They fall behind. The crowd's going crazy. No panic in the Astros, right? They come out, score 2, score 3, they're up 5-1, and then Michael Brantley huge hit to make it 6-1. It's just nothing phases this team. Well, it really is amazing.
You've both played for championship teams that were very similar, I think, in that regard. Your Cardinals teams, Wayno, and your White Sox team, AJ, very similar in that regard. Maton comes out of the pen and throws a 1-2-3-6 through the middle of the White Sox order to the 7th. You see Tony La Russa talking with Luis Robert. Robert is out of this game now as Adam Engel takes over for him in center field. You see some of his teammates coming over to console him. You wonder if there's something wrong with Robert.
Right leg tightness.
First pitch, Yordan Alvarez against Aaron Bummer to the left side. Yohan Moncada makes the play. Bummer retires another lefty. And there's one down to start this 7th on 1 pitch. So AJ just said it, the leg issue for Robert, and he is done for the game. Ronaldo Lopez is loosening up behind Bummer. I imagine maybe Bummer could stay in all the way through Kyle Tucker, the other left-hander in this lineup. He got Alvarez on 1 pitch. Here's Correa. Gurriel will follow. That's a tough way for Luis Robert to have to come out of this game. Obviously, a guy's been dealing with injury all season long and has really provided a spark for the White Sox. Gold Glover in center field last season and had some great offensive numbers since his return from the IL. So he's out of this game, unfortunately, for Chicago. Engel will take his spot in the 3-hole.
Robert can hit a ball just about as far as anybody in the world, too.
Man, that home run he hit last year still sticks around. Nothing in 2 on Correa.
He's one of the most dynamic 5-tool players that are in major. I mean, he can do everything. He won a Gold Glove. He can hit a far homer. He can hit for average. He can fly. He's got a great arm.
Great arm.
I mean, he's going to be an absolute. The White Sox have stars: Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Moncada, Jimenez. Luis Robert has the opportunity and the talent to surpass all of them.
He might be the best pure baseball player among the guys that you just mentioned. A lot of scouts have really lifted up Luis Robert. Some of the core of this White Sox group: Anderson and Abreu and Jimenez and Moncada. Bummer misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carlos Correa.
And take nothing away from the White Sox. They're going to be here for a long time in this situation. Their core is young. They're locked in.
Team-friendly contracts on a lot of these guys.
They're not going anywhere in the Central unless the other teams in the Central make huge jumps and huge moves. The White Sox will be heavily favored if they lose this game to win the Central easily again next year.
Yeah, facing them, that is not an easy lineup to navigate. There's a lot of guys that can do a lot of damage. And like you said, young, dynamic players are not going anywhere. They got some good young pitchers, too, that we've already seen. We'll still see what Dylan Cease has got left. He's gonna come of age. He's going to be good. Lance Lynn, obviously one of the best pitchers in the American League. And Giolito, man, what a stud. So, and Carlos Rodon, this guy, I'm telling you, might be the best of all of them when he's healthy.
Well,
free agent
though. Will they bring him back?
That's a good point.
Well, they've built this up over the last 5 years or so, really going back to 2016 when that deal was made. They traded Adam Eaton to get Lucas Giolito, the big Chris Sale deal to bring both Moncada and Michael Kopech. The trade midsummer in 2017 when the Cubs were trying to make a push. Jose Quintana just didn't put up good numbers, and Jimenez and Cease have turned into studs. So these trades have really worked out. You've signed Anderson to a very team-friendly deal. Abreu's the captain, essentially, is the one of the core guys of this team. There's a lot of names that are going to be familiar, and that's what it takes for success. It still doesn't go away. You still need core guys on all these World Series championship rosters. It's always guys that you recognize that Wayno, you've seen all those offenses over the course of years. AJ, when you were playing, it was the same deal. Like, you saw the same guys on the same roster in the same uniform year after year after year, and eventually they'd go around to win. Bummer trying to make the play. He'll have none as Gurriel reaches on the slow roller.
And who knows? This game is not over yet, right?
Sure.
Like, who knows? They could come back and win this. But all you can ask in spring training and then going into the postseason is that, do I have a team that can go out there and win this thing? And both these teams we're watching play right now, both of them have an opportunity, if they get past this series, both of them have an opportunity to win the whole thing, and that's really all you can ask for going into a season or into a postseason.
I mean, there wasn't a team, I don't think personally, when the playoff field got set, even including the wild card teams, I don't think there was really
especially
that many.
the wild card teams. I mean, especially them.
There you go. I didn't look at a team and think, oh, none of these teams can make it. Well, every single team that was in the playoffs, I was like, they got a shot.
I'm thinking
man.
The Cardinals, the Rays, they're not going to make it. The Yankees.
Well, now they're not.
What a knucklehead.
Classic Pierzynski. I love it.
I mean, look how right I am.
How many times do you think, oh, AJ?
It's part of the pleasure and the charm of working with my friend over here. Here's Tucker, lefty on lefty. Fouled away.
I think about every inning to myself.
But honestly, I looked at that field and thought everybody can make a run.
Yep.
I imagine you guys felt the same. Whoever, as you guys were making your run to make the playoffs, the 17 consecutive wins in September, incredible run by the Cardinals this year. I mean, Nobody you hear people say, we don't want to play the Cardinals. They're red hot. You don't want to play this team. You don't want to play that team. Because they're all good teams. All the teams that are in the playoff field were really good.
And the thing about it is to win the whole thing, you got to play all of them, or at least some of them. You got to get past those teams that are the teams that you don't feel comfortable facing. You're going to get past those. But the good teams, they're confident against anybody they're facing. And I know going into this series, both these teams were real confident going into it that they were going to come away with the victory.
Nothing in 2 on Tucker. 2 on, 1 out in the 7th. In the air to left. That carries Jimenez near the warning track. 2 away. Well, the Boston Red Sox are awaiting the winner of this series. Christian Vasquez with the sac fly. Beg your pardon, Christian Vasquez had the walk-off the other night, I should say. Kike Hernandez with the sac fly in Game 4. Back-to-back walk-offs for the Red Sox. Incredible.
Two devastating losses for the Rays, but these two guys, I mean, Kike Hernandez was the hottest guy in the world. 7 consecutive base hits. I mean, and then Devers has just been the power source for him. But talked about the Cardinals. I don't know. I want to face the Red Sox right now. Their lineup is on fire 1 through 9.
There's McCormick taking a strike. I mean, tough losses for Tampa Bay. The odd bounce in Game 3 and then the walk-off again in Game 4. The American League East had the #1 seed Tampa Bay now eliminated. Both wild card teams came out of the East.
A guy like Kyle Schwarber was a huge addition for that Boston team also.
Changed things up in a big way.
I mean, he was.
I've already heard you talk about recruiting him. Possibly. Just saying, not tampering.
Just saying.
Until after the season.
I was going to say, are we getting into weird legal situations?
A guy with a postseason pedigree to the middle of an already dynamic lineup is just that's a big addition, you know. And also talking about his second half. I mean, the guy hit like 47 home runs in 12 days. Yeah. So
McCormick goes down swinging. Bummer works through the majority of that middle of the order of the Astros. White Sox trying to stay in it. It's stretch time in Game 4. This game featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. Which team will throw the most strikeouts and how many will they have? One of the questions. Chances to play Super 6 all postseason long. 7 Ks apiece from these two pitching staffs. Gavin Sheets has homered, and he tries to do it again. Down the right field line, towards the corner. Tucker over, and unable to make the catch. Wow. Very close to an out. And Sheets was looking to put another postseason home run on the board. He's had a home run and a double today. He has hit the ball hard.
You're looking to start a rally. This is the guy you want starting it right here, right? Today, he's the hottest bat. And then you got Garcia on deck, who had the big swing yesterday. So this could be it.
Sheets became just the 3rd White Sox rookie with a playoff home run. Luis Robert did it obviously last year, that home run that Waino was alluding to, the 487-foot shot. But AJ remembers Tadahito Iguchi in 2005 homering as a rookie for the White Sox in the postseason. This is back in the 2nd. Dead center. Massive shot.
Breaking ball. I think it hit the top of the wall, went over. Got the White Sox on the board early, got the crowd excited, and that's been their whole offense so far.
Towards first, but Gurriel is there. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, he's seeing the ball well, isn't he?
Locked in.
He's on every breaking ball he sees, that's for sure.
Maybe try something else.
Yeah. Try the old cheese down and away next time, maybe. But he's looking good on those breakers. First pitch fastball in, right? Is what he pulled almost for a homer, wasn't it?
I believe it was, yeah.
So now you got Ryan Stanek loosening up. He could face the top of the order if Maton gets through the bottom of the order. Stanek could get the top of the order, and obviously they would like to bridge this to the 9th inning. Even in a non-safe situation, we have seen Ryan Presley work for the Astros here in this series.
Dusty's just counting out so he can get the ball to Presley.
Right.
If he can give him 5 outs, great. If he can give him 4 outs, great. But if there's any hint of trouble, Ryan Presley will be up in this game.
Garcia fouls one away.
One really cool thing about baseball right here. He's throwing 91, 92, and he's throwing his fastball right by guys. He's got a sneaky delivery. The ball just comes out different. Now, if I sat up there and tried to throw 91 miles an hour past everybody, it doesn't work the same way. Everybody's 91 plays differently based off how you throw it and the way it comes out of your hand. That's so awesome to me about how that. And we talked earlier, a 91 from me this week might be completely different than the 91 coming out of my hand next week.
91 plays differently on Monday than it does on Tuesday some days.
It does. It does.
Does your 88 play differently, or is it always the same?
Super sneaky, AJ. Lots of sink and stuff on it.
I'm just waiting for the Devastator.
Oh,
see a defensive swing, and he lashes it in towards the cameras.
Almost hit Tom Verducci down there.
Watch out, Tommy.
Yeah, I can't wait for your opening day start next year, the Devastator.
Oh yeah, spread the word, the Devastator.
Can you do like a Carol Burnett type of thing and just like pull your ear if you throw it, just as a nod to AJ and I at some point?
Well, I mean, there's hitters listening to this right now.
I'm not saying you got to do it before, just after.
Maybe I'll wiggle it on a fastball now.
I'm not trying to give away you and Yachty and your signs right now.
Sounds like a scouting report.
Ball and 2 strikes on Leury Garcia. Swings and misses on the breaking ball. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. A look at our Hyundai lift to the game when Lance McCullers Jr. was in the game. 3rd inning. A man at first base and Robert. They get the 6-4-3 double play, and then the very next inning, after the leadoff single from Grandal, the 4-6-3 twin killing. McCullers gave up a double and a walk after that, but struck out Cesar Hernandez to close that 4th inning. He exited the game. Garcia 1-2-3 in the 5th. Maton 1-2-3 in the 6th, and 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. White Sox 0 for 6 with runners on base in this game.
Those double plays are huge. The one especially to Abreu. You felt everything starting to, hey, here's their chance. Abreu, boom, double play. Then a leadoff hit, double play. It just kills all momentum.
And I keep going back to Correa versus Rodon with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. And Rodon, he's going to go back and go, if I had just got 1 more out, just pop that ball up, throw the same pitch, just pop it over, hit it to somebody. Just anything can happen, when the ball's put in play. And Correa found a good piece of hitting.
Well, I'm going back to Bregman. We went through it and through it and through it. 3-0. I think the only guy in the world that didn't think he was swinging was maybe Crochet, and he hits that double. But here's the double you were talking about from Correa. Not a bad pitch. I mean, it's up.
Probably wants it a hair more in, maybe, but it's definitely up, and it's definitely not easy to get on top of that. I mean, 97 up in the zone like that, top of the square. Man, that's tough. Good hitting. And sometimes you have to do that to these good hitters and these good teams. Sometimes, you know what, you throw your best shot out there, and sometimes you got to tip your hat when you.
But for me, it still was pitch selection, built off his first at bat. Correa first at bat, all sliders. He kind of blooped the hit. He got jammed, threw it over shortstop for a single. Second at bat, they went fastball in, fastball in, fastball up.
Into right field for a base hit. Hernandez
fastball in, fastball in, fastball again. So Correa's thinking back to his first at bat, saying, well, they threw me 3 of them in a row. My first at bat, here comes maybe 3 of them in a row. My second at bat, and he thought I eliminated the breaking ball because I got a hit off of it. He's going to challenge me fastball. Boom, he gets on top of it. He's ready for it.
9 in a row had been sent down by Astros pitching, all 8 from the bullpen until that base hit from Cesar Hernandez. Stanek coming into the game for the Astros here in the 7th. White is going to be very keyed in on this game for his fantasy league. Thursday Night Football back on Fox. Impressive comeback the other day by the Eagles against the Panthers as Jalen Hurts led the way. Tom Brady and the Bucs, though, are on a roll. We'll see him on Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. A little bit of life into the building now. A runner is aboard with 2 outs. A Hernandez single. Stanek is in for the 3rd time of the series. Got the win in game 2. Top of the White Sox order up here in the last of the 7.
What a great fan base.
They care, man.
They're rallying their troops right now.
They care. And I know you could go to any ballpark during the playoffs and be able to see the passion of the fans. I'm probably biased for sure because I live here and I hear it. I see it. I know what these fans kind of have a sense for.
I'm not biased at all.
There's so many Pierzynski jerseys I see, too. Is there another player that I didn't know about?
There was. He was good, too.
Well, number 12 is on base at first right now. Hernandez with the single. And TA7, as he's known, is at the plate, a ball and a strike. 2 for 3 with a double against Stanek.
Astros bringing A1 hair game to the game today. You got
big time flow.
You got Gurriel, you got McCullers. These guys they're rocking the big flow. I want to know what that looks like on the airplane.
Oh, you're saying like little shampoo, a little conditioner, a little volume.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, we could run a Revlon commercial in here with all these guys here.
As I asked my producer, is there a shampoo sponsorship that we need to start talking about? There's some flow. Craig Kimbrell was loosening up in the White Sox bullpen. Might be ready to come out for the 8th inning. 2-1 on Anderson. Towards Correa on a bounce, race to second, and the inning is over. Stanek comes on, gets the out. We head to the 8th inning in game 4. Follow all the action of the postseason with the MLB app. From real-time tracking of every pitch to in-depth analysis of the games. Download the MLB app today to make this postseason major. Craig Kimbrell still has a team option for next season for the White Sox. Making his 3rd appearance of the series. Pitched in 3rd of an inning. Came on for the final out of the 8th. He got Gurriel to ground out in game 3. He gets the 9-hitter Maldonado to begin this top of the 8th inning. White Sox will have 6 outs offensively with which to play. They've got 2, 3, and 4 due up in the 8th inning.
Well, Kimbrell's in the game here to hold them.
Yep.
We'll probably see Hendricks in the 9th to hold them. You try to give them any shot at all of having a comeback in them. Roos is playing his best cards. He's used all his best bullpen pieces. He's used every single one of them. From Crochet, Bummer, Kopech, Kimbrell, Tepera, and then probably Hendricks here in the 9th. So he's used all of his bullets in the bullpen to try to keep this game in check, if at all possible.
There's a 1-1 to Maldonado. Fouled away. Struck out in the 3rd before the RBI single in the 4th and the sacrifice in the 6th for Martin Maldonado.
Is it weird that I really want him to hit a fly ball or a foul ball right to us right now?
I mean, you've seen a lot of interesting stuff in these last couple of days.
Did you catch it, or do I have to catch it for you?
We want a shot. You want a shot.
I told you earlier I want to be on the deflection. You're going to deflect it. I'll catch it. I'll catch the rebound.
Bouncing ball to short. Anderson deep in the grass. In time, 1 away. So the Astros are trying to do something that only 2 franchises have ever done, and that is reach 5 consecutive league championship series. Faced the Boston Red Sox in 2018. Lost the World Series in 7 in 2019. And then last year, after being down 3-0 in the series to Tampa Bay, came back to at least force a game 7. won the AL West by 5 games this year. The Oakland Athletics in the early 1970s went to 5 straight championship series. And then, of course, the Braves of the 90s did it 8 times. You take out 1994 with the strike-shortened season. Obviously, Wayno, that was a team that you followed closely when you were growing up, that dynasty of the Braves in the 1990s.
That was a fun time. I think most of America followed them during that time. They were on TBS every night, 7:35, and man, those.
I was a Braves fan.
That's what I'm saying. Most of America.
Most of America.
No. Maybe not Astros fans. They didn't.
The old Superstation. Their friend Skip Carey on the call.
That was fun though, because if they didn't get to the NLCS or the World Series, you were thinking, what in the world happened?
What happened?
That was weird. You know, it was such a good run. But you know, in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s too, and that wasn't happening at all. So it was such a cool thing when they went worst to first. Was that 91, 92? That was awesome.
Well, Dale Murphy in the 80s was the coolest dude of all time.
Yeah.
Back-to-back MVP. Should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
I agree with that.
And one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my life, Dale Murphy. But
398 home runs, right? Something like that.
91, when they went worst to first and they lost to the Twins, Jack Morris in Game 7 against Smoltz. Yep. I mean,
that's one of the best pitched games of
all
all time.
I was a huge Braves fan. Obviously, I was devastated by the Twins, and I got drafted by them, and I'm like, oh, now I got to be a fan.
I was devastated too. Those games, and John Smoltz was the guy you wanted on the mound in those big Game 7s too. I mean, he was surrounded by other future Hall of Famers, but John Smoltz was the ultimate competitor. You could see it in his face. And, you know, there's a lot of guys I'm seeing pitching in this postseason now that we grew up watching, and we're trying to mimic that same scowl when we get in those big moments.
You talked about the windup, right?
Yep.
That was something that you imitated. Craig Kimbrell has had a very imitatable pre-windup stance. Now he comes home with a 2-2 and misses upstairs. 3-2 on Altuve.
Who was it? Scott Leos that pulled Ronnie Gann off the bag, or Herbeck pulled Ronnie Gann off the bag, and then Leos had a couple of huge knocks, and David Justice touched third, but they said he didn't touch third, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Lonnie Smith got deked by Chuck Knobloch, and
that was a devastating series. But
Gene Larkin, a good friend of mine, Gene Larkin, had the hit in Game 7 to win it. Hit loosely. Sack should have been a fly out.
Kirby jumped like 45 feet into the air to catch that ball up against the glass.
Great series. So we're watching Kimbrell pitch here. This at bat to Altuve kind of has been a microcosm of since Kimbrell came over to the White Sox. Not really controlling he's only 2-pitch guy, fastball, curveball, but he doesn't really have the command he had when he was with the Cubs in the 9th inning. He's been a little bit off. I don't know if it's mechanical, that he's not pitching the 9th inning and he's pitching the 8th instead, but there's definitely a difference in his command. The stuff is there, it's just been a command issue.
As anybody knows that plays, when you take a 9th inning guy out of the 9th inning, put him in a different role, or bring him in, let's say you bring him in a non-save situation, things are just different sometimes with those guys.
Altuve to short. Anderson with a nice glove play. Tough throw. Abreu cannot pick it out. And Altuve is hustling for second. Abreu slid to his backside and fired. And Altuve will take the extra base.
You want to see pure hustle? Jose Altuve on this ball. First, he's busting it out of the box. Tough play for Anderson. But this ball doesn't go barely anywhere. I mean, he busts it as soon as he thinks he's got a chance. Right here to get to second. I mean, he turns the Jets on.
That ball was not that far away from him either.
No, but Tim Anderson kind of backs up on this ball, lets it play him. Tough pick for Abreu, but there's no doubt. Altuve wasn't busting it to first, but when he turned the Jets on to second, it was a different gear.
Pretty impressive throw from his rear end there.
That was a pretty good throw. Yeah. Great shot from our crew. It is an error, the first, in fact, on the White Sox in this series. It will be an error against Anderson.
We've seen great defense. We've seen great base running. We've seen a lot of very good fundamental baseball in this series, at times from both sides.
Watch for Altuve stealing third right here. That ball got just under Grandal's legs, and he was bouncing, thinking about maybe trying to sneak attack him to third. But Kimbrell's kind of they know he's a 2-pitch guy. Altuve is going to be looking for an opportunity to get to third with less than 2 outs and put another run for the Astros on the board.
There's a 1-0. Smothered by Grandal. Altuve took off. Right on cue, AJ. You called for it.
Well, that wasn't a stolen base, but he was hyper aggressive on the ball in the dirt the pitch before. He was just waiting for another opportunity to get to third. And Grandal does a really good job blocking this breaking ball. Altuve was just so ready to go. You have no chance.
And that takes me back to my Savannah chain baseball game days in summer ball. If you're anticipating taking that extra base right there, if you're anticipating balls in the dirt, you get to the next base. If you're not, if you're flat-footed, you don't. And
well, surprised Grandal.
Yeah, that's a great job by Jose right there.
Normally you block it that good, you look up, the guy's standing on the same base. Altuve, no. As soon as he saw that ball hit the dirt, he was going.
2-0 on Brantley. 3-0. Infield in. 3-0 to Brantley coming. He gets the green light and fouls it back.
Why wouldn't he? We already saw it with Bregman. Yep. He's got to have the green light there. That's probably the best pitch he's going to get to hit. He's already laid off 2 breaking balls and a fastball in. Dusty wants to add another run. So, yeah, of course Michael Brantley's going to be swinging 3-0.
Chopper back up the middle, and another base hit for Brantley. Another one to score Altuve.
Another huge add-on run right there.
Yep. That is an unearned run. 2 bases on the air, takes third on the wild pitch, and Brantley gets ahead in the count to drive in Altuve. Let's get a little more on the Astros from Tom Verducci.
This is a perfect example, Adam. The Astros not getting too big, going up the middle. In this series, they only have 7 hits to the pole side. And you're talking about a relentless offense where it's tough to get strike 3 against them, and you must defend the entire field. White Sox came into the series with the best rotation in the league. Their starting pitchers in this series combined for 12 1/3 innings in 4 games. I know there's not one way to win in October. It's kind of like homemade lasagna. There's a lot of recipes. But, man, the way they play offensive baseball, that's like my grandma's lasagna.
Very well said, Tom Verducci.
Tom, I got to try that lasagna.
I'm very intrigued now.
I like
and you know, Wayne, and you know, Wayne, I was going to say, you know, Wayno's going to like that. But I mean, you're right, Tom. A 357 starters rotation this year for the White Sox. That was #1 in the American League. It was #4 in Major League Baseball. But only 12 innings from their starters in the 4 games in this series. Obviously, with the caveat that Rodon was dealing with some injury as he made the start today.
And how many hits do the Astros have total? Because that was a staggering number to me, to have only 7 pull-side hits with got to be close to 30 or 40 hits.
37
right?
hits in the series.
37 hits in the series, 7 of them pull-side.
Yep.
I mean, how about that's a crazy number.
It's great. Well, Tom did say one thing interesting. He said there's many ways to win in the postseason. You want to know how to win the most in the postseason? You don't strike out and you use the whole field. If you look at the World Series winners in the last few years, they've been very near the top of not striking out. And the Astros are right there.
And how did the White Sox win Game 3? They got swings and misses and they got strikeouts. 2-2 on Bregman.
Out of 37. It's still blowing my mind.
And 2 of them are Altuve. So this is what you were talking about, AJ. 2017 Astros, 2018 Red Sox, 19 Nationals, Dodgers last year, all top 4. Astros have been #1 3 straight years and 4 of the last 5 years in lowest strikeout rate. 2-2. 3-2. Runner goes, and Michael Brantley lifts a base. Had just 1 attempt all year during the regular season and stole the bag. He gets a playoff stolen base right here.
Another one on Kimbrel. High leg kick, breaking ball. Brantley picks the right pitch. Grandal, I mean, good throw, just no chance. There's just no chance. And Kimbrel's never been a guy, look, he doesn't look to hold runners. For his entire career, he's been able just to strike out guys at will. But right there, Grandal, perfect throw, no chance.
Third career stolen base in the postseason for Brantley on 3 tries. There's a payoff to Bregman coming. Off the fist, popped up. Moncada underneath it. And there are 2 down here in the top of the 8th.
I'm out.
No, it didn't work there, but Bregman always looks so balanced to me. He never looks like he's off. You know, he's always on time for pretty much everything thrown, it seems like. He's just very simple in his approach. Looks like he's just short to the ball. Those guys are really tough to pitch against. Good mop on top of his head, too. That's some thick hair, man. What do you got going on over there?
He used to keep it buzzed. He's growing it out as well. Here is Yordan Alvarez. So the Astros, including that Brantley steal, now have 4 stolen bases today, tying their franchise playoff record for a game. Of course, 2 of them came on the same at bat in the 4th from Kyle Tucker. Altuve stole a bag in the 3rd inning, and then the Brantley steal here in this frame.
That was a huge. The 2 stolen bases by Kyle Tucker might have changed the entire game. He got to 3rd.
Yep.
Maldonado drove him in. That took it from 2-1 to 3-1. Those stolen bases were huge.
Tucker is the first player to steal 2nd and 3rd in the same inning in the playoffs in 6 years. Dalton Pompey, if you knew that one, from the Toronto Blue Jays in the 2015 ALCS. You might win a bar bet or 2 with that one, Wayno. I'm just letting you know right now. To Alvarez from Kimbrel is upstairs 3-0.
Green light.
Speaking of green lights, Tucker got aboard with a single to start that inning.
That's nothing.
Took 2nd on a stolen base on the 2nd pitch to McCormick, and then the very next pitch took 3rd. 2 batters later, it was Maldonado with the infield in, getting his first hit and RBI of the series. And as AJ mentioned, that pumped the lead up to 2 at the time. 3 balls and a strike now to Alvarez.
You always look back on stolen bases and say, they don't really mean anything. Those 2 stolen bases by Tucker 100% changed the complete complexion of this game. It was 2-1. Kopech was in. I was thinking, okay, I'm only down 1. He gets the 3rd. Maldonado drives him in. It's 3-1. Then they add some more runs, and now basically the White Sox are hoping for a miracle.
In there for a strike. The fans are cheering a little bit more and a little louder because we finally saw Mr. Sun. Boy, it had been overcast, rainy, pouring at times all day yesterday, cloudy and overcast all day yesterday, and finally the left field stands and members of the upper deck on the left side of this stadium. Finally, you got to shield your eyes finally. 3-2 on Alvarez with 2 outs in the 8th. Alvarez fouls it away again.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Get it all the way. Come on, finish it. Oh, just short.
I am a real American.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hulk Hogan growing up was one of the heroes. One of my heroes for sure.
And now as if you put your hand to your ear, the crowd responds with some noise for you there, Wayno.
You point to those stolen bases, and I just keep thinking of different moments throughout this game where they just kept the pedal on the metal the whole time.
Right.
Always pushing the envelope, always pushing to the next base, always putting tough at bats on, walking when they needed to. They got 11 more hits. You know, they've been relentless.
3-2 again. And he loses Alvarez. Kimbrell had worked himself back into the count, but Alvarez will take the walk.
You mentioned the crowd. Hardly anybody's left. It's 7-1 in the 8th inning, right? It's still jam-packed in here. I'll say this about White Sox fans. They are some of the most die-hard fans. There was seasons we were out of it. Last game of the year, they stood here. They stayed. They cheered us after the season was over, even though we didn't have the year that many people thought. But they were here. They cheered us. Said, hey, there's always next year. They're some of the most die-hard fans in all of baseball.
I get the sense you'll see a lot of folks stick around even after this game. If they lose, whether they win or lose, it's not going to matter. All these people are going to be here, or a good chunk of them at least. I know some people are obviously going to hit the exits, but there's going to be a lot of people at the end of this game, regardless of the result. Well, we got a moment. A quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Get ready for the next pitch with Evan Williams, bourbon done right.
This park opened up as New Comiskey in 1991. It's gone through a couple of name changes, so folks still call it Comiskey. I had a tendency to still call it the Cell when it was U.S. Cellular Field because I sold cell phones for U.S. Cellular at the time. So that was part of the reason why. So
thanks. I got a couple
I may have sold one to you at some point. Come on by the Addison location on Lake Street. Here's Correa, bouncing ball to Anderson. Try to put away the inning. Good throw to first in time. 2, 3, and 4 for the White Sox coming up. Led off by Yoan Moncada. 7-1 to the bottom of the 8th in Game 4 in Chicago. Kendall Graveman was down for Game 3 after he pitched in each of the first 2 games of this series. 25 pitches in an inning in Game 1. 27 pitches in the 9th inning of Game 2. A couple of days in between, and now goes to work against 2, 3, and 4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Moncada leads it off and takes a strike. One and 1 the count on Yoan Moncada. 1 for 3 today. Singled back in the first. Struck out against McCullers in the third. Struck out, grounded out against Garcia in the 5th.
Graveman in here not only to try to get 3 outs in the 8th to get the ball to Presley, but also to get his confidence a little bit back. This is a guy they're going to need if they get past this. And also, he's new to relieving. Dusty Baker said that every time we've talked to him. This guy's new to relieving. He's been a starter. So every opportunity he gets to come in and pitch in relief is just a learning experience. More experience for him.
Fouled away by Moncada. He was a starter with the Oakland Athletics coming up. He came up with Toronto originally. But after a year in the big leagues, 5 relief appearances with the Blue Jays, he goes to the A's in 2015. 21 starts, 31 starts, 19. Had some injury issues, needed surgery, and missed all of 2019 with Oakland. Ends up with Seattle for 2020. A couple of spot starts that year, and he has worked out of the pen all of this season. Yeah, this is not good. A little garbage that has arrived on the warning track here. A 2-2 on Moncada. You see Dusty Baker trying to finish off a series. You asked him about the toothpicks. Obviously, that's one thing, but a lot of people call Dusty Baker the most interesting man in baseball. Played with Hank Aaron. Talk about the high five. He was sometimes credited with it. Avid fisherman, outdoorsman. He's a winemaker. He says I think the quote is, "I don't always drink wine, but when I do, it's Baker family wine." So a nice plug for your wine there, for your vineyard there, Dusty. But you asked him about the toothpicks right out of the gate. How did that come about? And as a lot of players do, at one point or another, was dipping. And this was the best alternative to dipping. Got an oral fixation? Well, use this instead. It's probably a little bit healthier for you.
And check out the wristbands.
That's the coolest thing. Wristbands with his own face on them.
Wristbands with his own face on them. Remember, Gary Sheffield used to have wristbands that said "Say no to drugs" with his face on them. I thought those were the coolest things ever. Look how many wristbands we got. Also, we got the little
1, 2, 3. Got 4 of them there, plus the one with his face on it that's covered up by the sleeve.
Yeah, and he's got I'm telling you, and he's got like 3 chains on. This guy has so many pieces of flair. He is the coolest dude in the room at all times.
Also, strong Office Space reference by you real quick, Wayno. But
yes, sir.
The high five thing was interesting to me because Baker hit a home run. It was his 30th of the season in the final game of the 1977 campaign. He hit it off of an Astro. You remember J.R. Richard, the guy who can hold like 8 baseballs in his hand or whatever? He hit the home run. Glenn Burke was waiting for Dusty at home plate, and he said, well, Glenn's hand was up in the air, and he was arching way back, so I reached up and hit his hand. It seemed like the thing to do. And that's how, supposedly, again, it's the same way that Hawk Harrelson.
The high five started?
That's supposedly how the high five started. It's the same way that, like, Hawk Harrelson invented the batting glove because he used to wear 1 glove on the golf course. Here's Moncada flipping it away after we get the cleanup in center field. Brantley there for the out.
Well, first of all, the high five is amazing, but the golf glove with White Sox, Hawk Harrelson, he went golfing. He didn't think he was playing. He played 36 holes. He had blisters.
Because Hawk would go like if there was a day-night doubleheader, he would go play 9 holes between game 1 and game 2.
So he decided, I'm playing after not thinking he was playing. He had blisters. He wore a golf glove and the game he says he got like 3 hits and 2 homers off Whitey Ford. I don't know how that part is right. But then he said the next day he had Mickey Mantle and all these Yankees in bright red golf gloves taking BP. So
that's the legend, supposedly. Adam Engel, the speedster, his first at bat after coming in as defensive sub for Robert. And he grounds out to Correa, 2 down.
Dusty still has the batting gloves on, though. You see, he's in the dugout. He's still got the gloves on. Don't let that fool you. He's got his hands kind of hidden under, but he's wearing black gloves right now. So these might be rubber gloves, but I've seen him in spring training this year. He had some big batting gloves on with the things undone and everything. He's amazing, man. He makes me laugh.
Great interview, too.
Yeah, he was. And how about the story? He was like, oh, yeah, I was there for that. He did that like 3 times. We were talking about Reggie Jackson. Oh, yeah, I was there for that. And then the guy's been everywhere.
Here's Abreu swinging a miss and 0-1.
And he and Tony La Russa, let me tell you, they used to go at it like cats and dogs, man. I think there's a lot of mutual respect in there, and they've kind of worked out the kinks since. But back in the day, these two used to be real angry at each other all the time.
Well, I think both of them had kind of alluded to it. When you're playing the same division and they have multiple times, you're going to see each other so much, and you're going to have a little bit of bad blood. And AJ, you said it early in the series when Tom Verducci talked to us about it. They want to beat each other because you see each other all the time. It's not they've had dust-ups. Their teams have had dust-ups because, again, you're going to see each other all the time when you're playing in the same division. They've met 208 times in the regular season, 104 to 104.
Is that right?
That is dead down the middle. And this is the second time they're meeting in the postseason.
Well, the thing is they both had good teams that were expected to win. It's not like Dusty or Tony have had bad teams ever. I feel like every time either one of those guys in the dugout, their team is competing for a World Series or a division title. So you put 2 good teams, you said Hall of Fame managers. I mean, Dusty's got to get in the Hall of Fame.
He's got to.
Right? World Series or not, Dusty should be in the Hall of Fame. And as competitive as those 2 dudes are, they're going to butt heads. And then you add in throwing at each other, at others guys, right? Pujols gets hit. You know, Tony hits 3 of Dusty's guys.
Matt Clement goes out and throws at somebody.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, Tony, too, to his credit, he celebrated his 77th birthday a week ago. Second all-time behind Connie Mack in victories. And he even said it when he hit that mark, passing John McGraw in early June for second place all-time. Somebody asked him about Connie Mack. He said, that's not only unattainable. That number for Connie Mack is beyond sacred. The 3,731 victories as a manager for Connie Mack, who managed into his 80s. Tony La Russa said that is beyond sacred. I think both of these men know, or at least have an idea of where they stand in the annals of baseball history.
And he does not like when pitchers throw up and in on his hitters. I can tell you that, especially the middle of the guy, big dogs. But even if his own pitcher throws up and in on the other team, he'll yell at you just the same way as he will the other team.
3-2 on Abreu. Fouled back. 1996 was the first time that these two met, Cardinals and Giants. They exchanged the lineup cards. Obviously, Barry Bonds was doing his thing.
That's odd. Barry Bonds going deep.
I mean, didn't it look like he hit it right off the end of the bat, too?
And somehow it still left the yard.
I tell people this all. I played with Barry Bonds for 1 year. He's the greatest offensive player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And nobody else is even on the same planet, solar system, galaxy, whatever. He was so good, it was a joke.
You hit behind him a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What year was that?
Oh, no. Well, we talked about this already, and you mentioned it, Wayno. Tony La Russa does not like it when you're throwing up and in. Abreu has dealt with this all year, was hit in Game 3 as well, although I don't think there was anything behind that either. But Abreu is on the plate, but guys have a tendency to clip him. And it got ugly last week at the end of the regular season with Detroit when Abreu went through this too. And now you see home plate umpire Vic Carapazza is going to get the umpires together.
For what?
Warning, maybe? I mean, this hurts, first of all. I mean, he's not. This is just a miss. I mean, well, you can tell by his reaction, right? He right away, head down, no. I mean, Tony's mad. I get it.
And he's missed up the hole at bat, though. It wasn't like he just didn't make the adjustment. He missed up like 4 times at a bat.
Tony's saying it's 3 times he's gone up there. You know, I don't know if Tony wants him ejected or what Tony wants, but I don't know what the umpires are talking about other than possible warning. But you can't kick a guy out 7-1, 2 outs. So why would he? I mean, there's
got to be a first pitch breaking ball coming here, right?
So Abreu is at first with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. This is what took place over the course of the year. Abreu's been hit 22 times in the regular season. That one was one of the scariest ones when they went up against Cleveland earlier this year. This was at the tail end of the regular season when he got hit in the elbow against the Tigers. And there was a dust-up with the two teams a few pitches after that.
Well, he went into second base. As a hitter, you get hit by a ball, you go and get the second baseman. He did that, and then Detroit got a little angry with him. But I mean, he'd been smoked a couple times in that series. He did it right. He went after the guy at second base.
Warnings issued to both dugouts. Vic Carapazza points to the third base White Sox dugout and the first base
Tony's about to get bye-bye.
He might get his money's worth here.
Because he's like, what is a warning? It just allows us not to throw at anybody.
Right. Now Tom Hallion comes in. He's the crew chief, operating from right field today, and let's see what takes place here.
Yeah, this is a long leash. This is a regular season game. He already would have been tossed, but they're giving him a long leash right here.
One thing you always know is Tony La Russa's got your back as a player. You know, he is always going to go out there. I remember Bobby Cox doing the same thing for his player. How many times did Bobby Cox get thrown out of the game? If Tony thinks somebody's, you know, even if he doesn't think you're throwing at him on purpose, if you do it a few times, he's going out there and he's going to make you feel protected.
Now, again, I don't know how the minds of managers work in these situations. You maybe have some insight with Tony. AJ, obviously, you'd know better than I would. Does this at all creep into the mind of a manager at a point like this? Got a runner on. You only got 4 outs to work with. Let me try to get up the energy up in the dugout and the crowd. Does that do anything for you?
It's 7-1.
That I mean, it's the last.
Grandal, Jimenez, Sheets, Garcia get on base and they get the tying run to the plate. This doesn't do much. I mean,
Bobby trying to ice the pitch a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, they got a full bullpen. They haven't even brought in their closer yet. So yeah, I mean, this is Tony. He's protecting his guys. He's also. There's a little bit of.
Let me slow the game. Let me, slow things down.
Fluff, shall we say, with this?
Sure.
I get his argument, and listen, he's absolutely doing the right thing. Right? Like Dusty came out and argued the Grandal play in Game 3, but at the same time, it gets the crowd a little bit excited. It gets people excited, but you know, he's not accomplishing it. They're not going to change their mind at this point.
One thing I love about baseball arguments too is you have to be real demonstrative with your body.
Yes.
You got to show the whole crowd with your arms,
gesticulate
and your legs,
wildly,
and your head.
Can you put Wayno on camera to explain that?
You don't argue like.
Wait for me. Ready?
You don't argue like this.
Let's
in
do it.
any
Go
other
ahead.
situation.
Give me what you do.
You don't, and then do this kind of stuff, and and pointing. And sometimes they're pointing. I'm like, what are they pointing at? There's nothing to point at over there. Like, he's over there doing this, and you're like, there's just nothing to point at over there. But you got to show the crowd how you got to fire them up with your body movement, and don't just like Ursula in the Little Mermaid.
Wow, great reference again here.
Never underestimate the power of body language, and that's what you got to do on a baseball argument.
My goodness. Showing the range today, Wayno. A little Monet, a little Manet, a little Chili's or Flingers from Office Space, a little Bull Durham, and now a little Disney drop. Well done, sir.
That's a guy with a lot of kids.
So here's Grandal. Maybe the energy has changed a little bit in the building. Fans are on their feet. 2 outs in the 8th in a 7-1 game. And Graveman, you called it, breaking ball, comes back with a strike.
You have to do that. Once you lose a couple of fastballs up and away or up and in, you have to come back with a breaking ball, get something else throwing so that you can get on top of the baseball again, mix it up a little bit.
Grandal went around, and it's 0-2. Graveman comes home trying to put the inning away. Just missed off the plate. 1-2 the count on Yasmani Grandal. Seventh straight postseason trip for Yasmani. Chopper hit to the right side into the shift. Correa will lob it to first base to close out a long 8th inning. A little eventful, but the Astros right now have the lead. It's 7-1 as we head to the 9th in Game 4. Liam Hendricks pitched the 9th inning of Game 3 in an electric atmosphere. Just 10 pitches, struck out a pair. He faced Aledmys Diaz and Jason Castro pinch hitters, and then struck out Altuve looking to close the night. 3rd appearance of the series. Hendricks pitched an inning in Game 2 and struck out a pair as well. First pitch swinging, Yuli Gurriel, and he'll dump it down into left field for a base hit. Gurriel with back-to-back hits in the 7th and 9th. We'll start Saturday strong on Fox with a big noon kickoff pregame show. Then undefeated 12th ranked Oklahoma State gets set to take on number 25 Texas. Texas coming off a wild Red River. I tried it so hard. Red River rivalry game. No defense in that game. Big noon Saturday on Fox.
That's a tough loss.
That's what they call that game.
Red River rivalry.
Used to be another word, but they're not allowed to use the shootout anymore.
Yeah. Red River rivalry reunion. Do that one.
Oh, Wayno. All right. You want to do some vocal warm-ups too? You going to show off some operatic ability as we get forward here?
Unique New York.
Scotch.
I know that reference.
Yeah, there you go.
Same.
One of these days, the three of us will have a good time in a booth somewhere. Want to know on Kyle Tucker? All his shots going the other way. A line out and a couple of flyouts to left field, a single to left field as well. Had a home run to left field in Game 3.
That's why he's such a good hitter. He turned this season around. He started going the other way, and he goes the other way with power. We saw the home run off Kimbrel to left field, the home run off Kopech to left field.
And there for a strike.
And he's stepping in the bucket right there. He stepped almost to first base.
Yeah, what? You thought he was about to get a hit ball right there or what?
I don't know.
Liam just comes right at you, doesn't he?
There he is with 99 up in the zone.
He trusts his stuff.
They signed him to a big contract. Another guy that, I mean, AJ, you pointed it out, all the guys that are going to continue to stay with this organization. Hendricks, another one who signed that big money deal after the last few years with Oakland.
So if we get into the White Sox, most of their core is back. They need a second baseman, right? Cesar Hernandez, free agent. The outfield, maybe a right fielder. You know, make Garcia more of a true utility guy. Catcher, they're set. First base, shortstop, third, left, center. Most of the pitchers.
On the ground, there is Abreu with a snag. Fired a second to Anderson. Relay to Abreu, not in time. Tucker beats it out, but a very slick defensive play from Abreu again. Anderson nearly turned it.
And throws the ball well, too. It's not every day you see a first baseman that can throw it to second with authority on the mark like we've seen him do a couple of times already.
Nice play. Clears room. You see him clear the room to the inside. Anderson gets it right back to him. Tucker just outruns it. That's the hardest double play to turn. 3-6-3. 2 long throws across the diamond. You got to be really super slow like me to get that turned on you all the time.
Right now, our producer Aaron Stoikov is going, you know, we have AJ's double play numbers in the truck. We can bring them up if you want. Yeah, he just told me, 2004.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's when you brought up Barry Bonds. I started crying.
I brought up Barry Bonds earlier.
Well, when the guy in front of you is on base 70% of the time,
you're gonna. It's by sheer volume alone.
Oh yeah. We only walked 270 times that year.
We appreciate our great producer Aaron Stoikov, our director Mitch Riggin, our associate director Caden Pfeiffer, our broadcast associate Jake Fuller, our technical director Daniel Berger, our technical producers TJ Scanlon, Patrick Carrion. Joe, our wonderful booth coordinator, wrote down the crew inspiration was Ursula, so that's a nice nod to the Little Mermaid as well.
Everyone at home was thinking it too.
Absolutely.
Special love to Joe. Him and I formed a bond at Field of Dreams that will never be broken.
Mostly because he was dressed like he was straight out of the 1900s.
But we had a story.
Well,
him and I at Field of Dreams. So
you,
love Joe.
Helped you get to play. Like he's about to go buy a blue. What was it? What did he buy? A blue. He was buying it for. What did Doc buy? He had to buy a blue purse for his wife every time he walked by the one store or whatever.
Well, Joe has been a booth coordinator, a truck worker for the production trucks in Chicago for a long, long time. Old Cubs guy. He was in the trucks with Arnie Harris and all those fun years. Wonderful. This is a small sliver of the names on this fantastic crew made up of the women and men of Fox Sports. We appreciate all their work during this division series. Many of them will be on to the LCS and World Series as well. 2-2. Flipped foul.
Camera guys. Let's not forget the camera guys.
Phenomenal work all series long. The shots that you guys get of the ballpark, of the great defensive plays. You saw Mickey earlier, was on my football crew. That's Dennis.
How about our makeup gal who spent about 45 minutes trying to make me look all right today?
Got Matt there. You're talking about Mel here in the booth. 3-2 here on McCormick.
3-2.
Takes a village. We're glad we got to be in Houston and Chicago for this series. There's Rob. Gave me a box to stand on so I wouldn't look like I was completely tiny next to AJ and Adam. Always appreciated. Just, you know.
It's weird how much higher your seat is.
A walk to McCormick. 2 on, 1 out here in the 9th inning against Hendricks. 7-1 game. Our friends at TBS will take care of you tonight for some crucial game 4s between the Braves and Brewers, and then the Dodgers and the Giants tonight. 1 hit for Maldonado in the series. It was a big one. It was back in the 4th inning. It made it a 3-1 game at the time. Astros would tack on 2 more in the 4th. They added 1 in the 6th. White Sox took the early lead in the bottom of the 2nd on that impressive Gavin Sheets home run. Gas at 99.
It's the worst feeling in the world, isn't it, Wayno? When you're on the losing side of a game that you always think you have a chance, but deep down, you're thinking it's 7-1. We've got 3 outs. They're bringing in their closer to try to finish this thing off. You just think about all the at-bats, the whole year, all the work you put in to get to the playoffs. It's so hard to make the playoffs. And then you're just staring down the barrel of a gun that you just can't stop.
And the what ifs.
Oh, there's always a million.
0-2. The other thing that sticks out, and this is the beauty and the pain of this sport. 162 games. You build a profile of your team. You have tendencies, you have probabilities, you study the other team. And this is not just for these two teams, it's for the playoffs in general. Only a small amount of teams make it. That's it. You get the 2 wildcard teams, you get 3 division winners in each league. And that is it in this format.
Only one team's happy at the end of the year.
Exactly. There's 29 upset teams come the first, second week in November. Big strikeout of Maldonado at 100 from Hendricks. And there are 2 away. It all comes down to these series.
Altuve up, 2 outs.
Hendricks up on the mound.
Hendricks on the mound. Fans not happy.
Say it.
I'm just saying, watch out.
I hope not.
For me too. I hope not also, but.
Well, we talked about tendencies and probabilities.
We already got hit once today, so.
The warnings have already been issued.
One thing about winning in the postseason too, you have to grind all the way through that 162 to get there. That takes a lot out of you.
Altuve hammers one to left. That might be the exclamation point of the series. First home run of the set for Altuve. That one felt a little deeper.
Or 2 out RBIs. 2 out lightning from the Houston Astros. It's been the story of the series. Hendricks tried to throw a first pitch heater. We talked about his first at bat. Be careful first pitch. Hendricks throws one and Altuve hits it really far to left field.
That is career playoff home run number 19. He has just tied George Springer, his old teammate, for the most playoff home runs in Houston Astros history. And now he has worked into a tie for 4th all time. So he's tied Springer. Pujols has 19. He started the other night for the Dodgers. Ramirez, Williams, Jeter, obviously all those playoff games that they got to play. The home run totals went up for them as well. But when you pass Reggie Jackson and Mickey Mantle on any list, pretty impressive company.
A few more games for those other guys, though, than Mantle and Reggie Jackson. Now, Altuve gets the division series, the wild card.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
A few more. Even Manny was in wild cards and division
very
series.
Fair point.
So.
That's a base hit for Brantley, pulled past the second baseman Hernandez. That'll bring up Bregman. Back to the home run from Altuve.
First pitch heater, right square. That's on a tee. If you asked Jose Altuve where he'd want to hit a ball, that would be exactly where it was. I don't care how hard he's throwing, but see the excitement in the Astros dugout. They smell it now, and frustration. That look right there from Hendricks, it sums up pretty much the whole White Sox crowd and dugout right now.
If you could read feelings on a face, I think you just did.
I'm still impressed. 10-1. This crowd is still
pretty hefty, right?
A lot of people.
Like I said, they're probably going to be here. A lot of these people are going to stick around. Probably one more big ovation for their team when this one's over, and it's starting to feel more and more like it's being decided in front of us.
How good does that feel for Jose Altuve? All the hate from the crowd, the last couple games, last at bat probably here, and he goes deep.
Bregman takes a strike, 0-2. Jimenez, Sheets, Garcia, their spots due up in the order in the 9th inning for the White Sox. Popped up, not a play foul. Called strike 3. Bregman retired to close out the top of the 9th. 3 more in the frame. The Altuve home run, the big blow. To the bottom of the 9th we go. Astros 3 outs away. American League Championship Series. It was Houston against Boston. Houston won Game 1 on the road at Fenway, but then Boston won 4 straight to take the series. Jackie Bradley Jr., the series MVP. That game-saving catch by Benintendi in Game 4. The Red Sox would go on to win that series, and they would win the World Series against the Dodgers. This was the season series recap. Astros took 5 of 7, got the better of the offense going. The Red Sox, you guys talked about it, playing very confidently. That's the thing about the postseason. You find teams on hot streaks, and we'll get 2 teams that know each other well. They'll meet for the 3rd time in the playoffs in the last 5 years. Then in the division series too.
Those numbers we showed head-to-head were eerily similar to the White Sox versus the Astros head-to-head during the season also.
It's 5-2 in the regular season.
But the runs per game,
yep,
the ERA, everything was. They're not exactly the same, but they were close. And 5-2, and the Astros beat good teams. The Astros beat good teams during the regular season. They were actually better against the good teams than they were the under 500 teams. So they believe too. We've talked about it for 4 games now that the Astros believe that they're meant for the postseason to win in postseason. They're the most confident team I've seen.
Jimenez down to the count, 0-2. Ryan Presley is on to try to finish this game off. Well, let me get you guys to flip it forward a little bit. With a 9-run deficit for the White Sox here. Houston 3 outs away. Wayno, give me a sense. You've obviously scouted both teams. You've run into them at various points. As you see the Astros and the Red Sox as a potential ALCS matchup, give me a sense of those 2 teams. Jimenez into right field, serves it towards the gap, and that's a base hit for Eloy.
I think you have 2 dynamic lineups. For sure. 2 lineups that are going to be very deep, that can hurt you to all fields, that can hit a home run at any point in the game, that love to get runners on base, love to slug, but also will take what they give you, obviously. You know, this team has what? Earlier we said 7 hits out of 37 were pull side hits. And so they're just not trying to do too much. And I think that's what you get with the Red Sox too. They're teams that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. I look at the Red Sox pitching though. I like those guys. They got some big arms over there, and that's the only question mark for me with this Astros lineup. I don't know a whole lot about their starting pitching going forward those first couple of games, but we'll see.
Well, Framber Valdez probably will start Game 1, right? Garcia, can he bounce back? Or Urquidy's got to get in there somewhere. For me, the X factor is Chris Sale. What can he give the Red Sox, right? I mean, Evaldi's been great in the postseason in his career. What's he gonna do for him? But where's Chris Sale fit in? Is he gonna start? Is he gonna come out of the bullpen? I mean, for me, that's the X factor of X factor.
He was loosening up out of the pen the other night, getting ready to come in and relieve.
Eovaldi looked amazing against, who was that, the Yankees he pitched against? He was just absolutely disgusting.
Pitched well against the Rays also. Eduardo Rodriguez, what can he give you, right? He's another one.
Ball and a strike on Gavin Sheets from Ryan Presley. There's a bouncing ball up the line at first. Foul, 1-2. Let's go down to the field, and Tom Verducci, I'm curious to your thoughts as well, Tommy, as we look ahead.
Well, it's a matchup of the #1 ranked offense in baseball and the #4 ranked offense in baseball. Astros at the top, Red Sox at 4. But if there's anybody who knows the personnel of the Astros really well as an opponent, is Boston manager Alex Cora. And of course, Alex lost his place in the game a year ago because of his role in the 2017 sign-stealing scandal. He was the bench coach for the Houston Astros. He is extremely close with several of these Astros still. Alex Cintron, the hitting coach, is Alex Cora's best friend in baseball. He often texts with Martin Maldonado, Carlos Correa. Now, Alex did come back to Houston earlier this year when Boston played in Houston in May, but this is for a spot in the World Series. What a reunion.
Alex Cintron, of course, spent some time with the White Sox. As Tom mentioned, the hitting coach for the Astros. And you could tell Alex was a little bit emotional last night after the Red Sox pulled out a second consecutive walk-off win against the Rays. There's going to be a lot of storylines in that series. And, of course, we'll have it for you, the American League Championship Series on Fox.
This has been fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure with both of you. 0-2 on Leury Garcia.
Thanks for putting up with all my food antics and my Disney references.
I mean, that just made it easier for me to not have to ask for the food. 0-2 pitch. Garcia fights it off. No matter what happens, though, going forward, fans are going to remember Leury Garcia in Chicago for a long time for his Game 3 performance.
Absolutely.
You don't hit a home run like that in a playoff game in any city that cares about baseball and not be remembered for it. That was one of the biggest moments of Leury Garcia's entire professional career.
Great game all the way around.
4 RBIs last night, or last game. Rolls over one here. Altuve to Correa. They'll get the force out at second. And there are 2 down here in the 9th. White Sox down to their final out.
How many years had it been since they had since a win here, playoff win?
Since 2008. They had won Game 3 against the Rays in that series, and then hadn't played a home playoff game since Game 4 of that set until Sunday night and got the win. Here is Cesar Hernandez. Astros 1 out away from matching some history. 0-1.
Those White Sox shouldn't be ashamed of anything. They had a great season, great regular season, exciting lead into the postseason. And they came up against a really good team.
Bouncing ball to the right side. Altuve's got it. They'll throw to first. For a 5th consecutive season, the Houston Astros are headed to the American League Championship Series. Something done by only 2 franchises in Major League history. It is 5 consecutive trips to baseball's Final Four. They do it in 4 games. They close it out on the road here in Chicago.
Great series by the Houston Astros. Workmanlike, and you see the way they're celebrating. It's not the big dog pile, Wayno. It's just handshakes and hugs on to the next round. It's what they expect to do in the postseason. They expected to get to the ALCS the last 5 years. Here they are again, and the Red Sox are in for a tough battle against Dusty Baker's Astros.
I think expect was a great word that you just used right there. These guys expected to come in here and win. They got the job done. Everybody had a role to play. Everybody was a hero on given moments. And it's a total team win for them. They should be proud.
Second season for Dusty Baker. And a second straight ALCS under his watch. And Jose Altuve with the exclamation point of this one today, down to Tom Berducci.
Thanks, Adam. Jose Altuve, 5 straight LCS trips for the Houston Astros. Only the third franchise to do it. It's one thing to get to October. It's another to get through October. What is it about the Houston Astros playing this well in October?
You know, I think the good chemistry, and obviously some of the guys have good experience. You know, we've been here for 5 times, and, you know, we just try to pass it to the guys that are getting here the first time. We play as a team. We're a really good team. Like I said earlier in the series, we don't try to be heroes. We're just trying to win games.
Jose, this season you've heard from fans now in the stands this year, reminders of what happened in 2017, but there was an opponent who mentioned it, Ryan Tepera, the White Sox pitcher. What effect did that have on your club going into today's game? You
know, we show up today. We're playing a really good team, first of all. You know, they can hit and they can pitch. They can pitch really good. And, you know, no matter what happened, we show up today to win the game. You know, we didn't want to go back to Houston and play a game 5 against them because they're really good, you know, and I like the way they're playing. And like I said, we show up today, try to win the game, and I'm really happy and thanks God we won today.
And Jose, now you get a rematch with the Boston Red Sox from the 2018 LCS, and you also get to see your former bench coach, Alex Cora. Tell me about what you expect from the ALCS and the Boston Red Sox.
It's going to be a really good series. Obviously, they're a really good team. They just beat the Tampa Bay Rays, which they won 100 games. The Red Sox, they can hit, they can pitch, play good defense. They know how to play the game. They've been in playoff before, too, so it's going to be fun.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the ALCS.
Thank you, thank you.
Back to you, Adam.
Tom Verducci, a fabulous job as always. We appreciate all your work. A wonderful job by my booth mates here, AJ Przinsky and Adam Wainwright, the World Series champions. Mitch Smith was our statistician. A wonderful job next to me as well. Altuve and Correa, the tandem that has been together for 60-plus playoff games and has seen a lot of success. They are moving on to a 5th consecutive American League Championship Series. For Waino, AJ, Tom, the wonderful women and men of our crew, Adam Amin, a privilege to be here as always. To Los Angeles and Kevin Burkhardt.